Oh man, I'll go easy. Yeah, me too. Let's see. Nice. I was gonna say that must be a good reinforcement feeling to see that be just getting traction on all your videos because you definitely deserve it. Oh man, the hype has begun. I can, and I hear the stream too. Oh, in the stream, let's see. No, I actually think you're muted. I think so. I can, and I hear the stream too. Yeah, I hear myself in the stream, but I think you're muted. Huh. On Zoom maybe? I'm not sure. Is there a mute option on there that maybe is disabled or enabled? Hmm. Let's see. Um hmm. Maybe OBS?
Yeah, it is. I found it. All right, there we go. Now you guys can hear me.
Boom.
All right, you guys should be able to hear me now.
Maybe OBS?
All right. No, it's just that I didn't select the right inputs on my OBS, so I got it, man.
Gotcha. Now I can hear you.
You hear me on the stream, right? Yeah, it is. I found
Sweet.
it. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. Let's go ahead and continue with the stream. Okay, sweet. My mom is also watching. All right, guys. So let's do a quick roll call.
Hey, Ronnie's mom.
Sorry about that, everybody. Technical difficulties. OBS is a bitch, but we're using Zoom. So, anyways, guys, welcome Evan Filarca. We've actually done streams a couple times in the past already. This will be like, I think, the third time we do another stream. It's a collab vid. Guys, Evan Filarca is great. He's great for Spidey content. I've been actually following him for quite some time, ever since he only had like a couple thousand subscribers, but he shot up to like 70,000. And yeah, man, like, let's welcome him. He's a Spidey guru, and we're going to have a good time on this stream. We also have some shit to say about Spider-Man No Way Home as well. But we're also excited at the same time because it is Spider-Man. So a quick roll call before we get started. Preston Bays, Drippity Fix Up, Charlie Rubio, who has the same last name as I do. What's up? What's good? Ooh. Spider-Man Roblox, Young Special, how's it going? Norhax 2099, Crunchy Avocado, cool name. Magic Koopa, Moose, Hi, Head of the Table, Spider-Man Roblox. There's a lot of Roblox people here. DI Kingdom, what's going on? Mom, hello. All right, guys, with all that being said.
What's up, everybody?
We're going to go ahead and get started. Evan, if you want to say hi, you know, so you're all good.
Absolutely. I'm still trying to send out a link to the stream on Twitter so people can see it.
Thanks.
Voice
thank
crack.
You. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm actually going to
thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully you are having a good day. Hopefully you're going to enjoy the topics we'll discuss, and definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe on Ronnie's amazing channel and
Thank
video,
you.
because he definitely deserves your support. He's been doing incredible videos lately about Marvel Spider-Man 2, MCU Spider-Man, other comic stuff like Loki, and also, I believe, Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision, if I'm not mistaken, or if I'm right in assuming that. But all your favorite comic stuff,
Thank you.
Ronnie's your guy. Me, I wish I could, but it would
Well,
all
you do
be
cover
negative
Avengers stuff.
I do for the game.
For the game.
Not for the movies, for the MCU stuff. For the game, for the Black Panther news and the Guardians game, which I'm actually quite interested in, to be honest.
I'm interested in, and I will play it. I will live stream
Avengers
it.
game.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. But not for the Avengers game, to be honest. I kind of discuss it when I have to.
Yeah.
Because recently the Black Panther info was like, yeah.
One of your subscribers, I believe, says one of your subscribers, I think it's Tabari Butler. He says, "Hey Evan."
What's up, dude?
Di Kingdom, Amory Currington, sup? Everybody's saying hi. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with a few. We're gonna go down a few talking points actually. So the titles: Marvel Spider-Man 2 release date, PS5 exclusives, and No Way Home discussion. So we're gonna go in that order. Kind of talk about the release date, why we think it's going to be released, at a said time. And I already did a video talking about why I think it's going to be coming out in the fall of 2023. But yeah, if you want, Evan, let's go ahead and start. If you want, do you have any idea, or when do you think the game could be possibly coming out?
So just to clarify, right off the bat, for anyone who's watching, I don't have any inside sources. No leaks. No rumors, no insight about any developer know-how about what's going on. So if you see any videos out there that aren't from Ronnie or me that are clickbaiting, saying Marvel Spider-Man 2, the black suit, the symbiote suit, all that, dislike it or just ignore it because it's obviously clickbait, fake. But I would say, and Ronnie did do a video about this the other day, which I totally 110% agree on, is that it makes so much sense for Marvel Spider-Man 2 as a game to release in 2023. And the reason not only being because it'll allow more time for Insomniac to work on it, of course, but also because we do know that the PlayStation 5 shortage issue, sadly, is still a big problem. And it's going to reportedly still be in effect for most people going into, by the end, most likely, of next year in 2022.
Right.
And for people like myself, I sadly do not own a PlayStation 5. Ronnie does. I don't. So we're at this is kind of like an interesting
it's hard
statistic,
to get,
though. This is a cool little conundrum because this is an accurate statistic. Like you could do 1 out of 5 people in a room currently own a PS5, and that's kind of true. So me, I'm in that 4 out of 5 group. I don't have one, and the reason why that's so crucial is because, as I've said numerous times, and Ronnie I think said too in one of his videos, is that I think it makes the most sense for this game, Marvel Spider-Man 2, to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive.
Exactly.
Just like Insomniac did for Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and guess what? That game was fantastic from the reviews and footage I've seen.
I haven't played it.
Sadly.
I haven't played it, man. I have not played it.
Oh, you haven't either?
No.
Wow. That's interesting. How come?
I'm just trying to cut down on spending on shit that I like. It's a personal thing. But I really want to get the game, but sadly, I've been budgeting, so I have to.
I'm an idiot because recently I spent about $50+ on stupid Genshin Impact microtransactions because I've been super addicted to that game lately.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, what am I doing with my life? A good thing to do. But I'm like, I know I should save up for a PS5, but there's no PS5s.
Yeah.
So I've just kind of put that money on the side for whenever they become available.
It's the conductor shortage actually because of the PS5, and that goes into play with everything else, even cars. There's a shortage in cars too. Like
the chips and stuff.
The chips inside, yeah. There's a conductor and the chip shortage.
Right.
So I don't know how long that's going to go into.
That's not a fault for Sony or anything for the lack of them trying to get more out there because they want to get them out there.
Subside Dragon.
We've seen that from gamers and online financial reports from people saying that the PS5 has been the most financially successful launch of a console, I think, of all time.
Yeah,
so there's a demand. The demand is skyrocketing at an all-time high. The problem is that there's no supply. Supply versus demand.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but also Sony does this every year, man. All the time that they release a new console. I'm like, that it's highly anticipated. Why didn't you ever make enough from the start? Like, it's so annoying.
Like, we didn't picture this happening. It's like, you knew this was happening.
You knew this
Don't
was
lie.
happening. Like, I quote Harry Osborn. You saw this. Like, don't think you didn't see this coming, Pete, or something like that. Like from
Right, you knew
I saw
this was
Spider-Man.
coming, Pete.
You knew this was coming, Pete. So like, you put Sony's like symbol on Harry's head, and then you know this was coming,
Yeah.
Pete. Like, or no, the audience, and then like, and Sony's like Peter Parker.
And he dodged out of the way. It's
Yeah.
like, it was me. I didn't try and steal your PS5. Shut up.
I recently saw the trilogy with my girlfriend. She never seen the trilogy before, and
Ooh.
so she's like, you know, at one time she told me, it's like, hey, when are we gonna watch Spider-Man 3? Because we saw the first two quickly, because like they're great movies. I love them, and I told my girlfriend, listen, this one's like a little iffy. It's weird. It's not the best, even though it made the most money. It's still not the best movie. Like, I don't. So then I go like, okay, let's watch Spider-Man 3. And then she's like, what was that movie? Everything was everywhere. It was so bad. Yeah, it was the worst.
Man, I think like, that movie's just like a guilty pleasure for me. Like, I know it's bad.
Yeah.
I know it's not a well-written story. I know that the other two are so much better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know why. This is kind of the same thing I have with The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I like that movie as an enjoyable film to watch
Yeah, that's
more than the other films, even though I know it's logically bad. It's not as good as the other two. But for whatever reason, I actually have more fun watching it compared to the other ones.
Exactly.
I don't know why. So I totally get you on that. And yeah, for me, what have I been doing recently? Just focusing more on the Marvel Games stuff. Because the movies, you already know, like, this is already detracting from the game. But from the movie side, I've just been kind of indifferent is the best possible way I can put it without being super harsh, is I've just been indifferent towards how Spider-Man is currently being portrayed on the films, which is why the games are so exciting for Ronnie and me, because we're always interested to see where Insomniac can take Spider-Man next, like we saw with Miles, like we saw with the first game, and like what we're getting teased and what has been teased for the sequel. And
do you really think that image of him, Najee Jeter, do you really think that's him on the set of Spider-Man 2?
So, people have pointed out the only other game he's worked on in the past that has not been Spider-Man was all the way back in 2013 with the first Last Dance.
Then forget it.
So, it's like, oh, Najee, you're back acting with motion capture, not for...
Wait, he was in The Last of Us? He was the kid? He was one of the kids?
He was the younger brother of...
Oh my god!
Sam, or what? Or his
Sam.
name was Sam.
Sam,
the guy,
yeah.
the kid who got bit, and then he, the
I didn't
older brother shot him because he got bit.
I didn't realize that was Najee Jeter as a kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy.
I'm like,
and I was like, yeah.
That's Miles Morales dying.
Like, no,
no. They shot Miles up in another universe.
In another universe. Multiverse confirmed.
So the chat's pretty active, and a lot of people are adamant about like maybe late 2022, which I highly doubt. We don't have a trailer.
I doubt too.
So some of the comments,
to be honest, in a perfect world.
Yeah.
So here's two possibilities, and I think you can agree on this.
Yeah.
Possibility one, which is the one I hope happens, and the one I think will likely happen, because if they want to try and promote the PS5 and say this is the machine that you need to buy. Remember, that was their big marketing scheme before. Like, you need a PS5 because you got to play these games on next gen.
Yeah.
Like Horizon Forbidden West, like God of War Ragnarok. Then we learned that they were cross-gen, so that kind of defeated the purpose.
Yeah.
So that's a bit weird. So, like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So that's their first PS5 ever exclusive that Insomniac made. So option one, Spider-Man 2 is a fully only available on PS5 game.
That's what it should be.
And that will end up releasing in 2023, so that way more consoles can come in stock, and more people like myself who don't own one can then grab one when they're available. That's the most ideal one for me.
Right, that's what I was aiming for, because also another thing to consider is that by the time 2023 rolls around, we're already about midway into the cycle of the PS5 lifespan.
Yes.
So I'm like, why continue production for PS4 games by that time? It defeats the purpose of having a PS5 already. You know, like at least out in production still. So it has to be a PS5 exclusive at that point. That's another 2 years, another 2.5 years or so. You know.
And then the second option, I think, to build off on that is, if you've been noticing recently, with the PlayStation games, their exclusives that they've been releasing, they're now re-releasing. we're getting director's cuts, right? And those are the enhanced definitive edition-esque style of the game, fully revitalized as best as it can possibly be on the PS5. So Death Stranding is getting a director's cut. Ghost of Tsushima is getting a director's cut. Now,
are you going to pay for that?
Is actually a cross-gen. I already got the first game, or I got Ghost of Tsushima.
I have the game for the
PS4.
Yeah.
So, and it's an it's a small little island expansion with a couple things. I like the game. I
game's
would vote
beautiful.
it as my game of the year.
Me too.
Of 2020, but I don't know if I'm going to go out of my way just yet until I see the enhancements to get the game again for PS5. And then another one of my favorites is Persona 5 Royal, which is actually my specific game of the year. I've been tweeting about that game like nonstop, if you guys know us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Literally one of my favorite games of all time. That is only on the PS4 console as a whole, and it looks great on my PS4 Pro.
Right.
But by the time that they re-release it again, which I think they will in September to go with that anniversary, they will then do another type of director's cut situation. Oh, PS5 enhanced Persona 5 Royal. So what I'm getting at here is this. Spider-Man 2...
Hey, Franco.
The option which I don't want to have happen, but if they want to make more money, I could see them doing this. Spider-Man 2 could be a cross-generation game where it releases on both PS4 and PS5, but the PS5 version gets a director's cut, the Intihar cut, the Brian Intihar cut, and then they add on, a little bit more content, maybe a couple missions, some new suits, and all the enhancements that come with the PS5, 3D audio, DualSense, ray tracing, all that stuff. So that way, people who don't own a PS5 yet can play the sequel on a PS4, just like they did with Miles Morales, like I did. I didn't own a PS5, so I played Miles on my PS4 Pro, and it still looks great, to be honest. And then later on, say, hey, I got the console. Oh, great. Well, then you can upgrade to our director's cut, where you get all what you just played with some more stuff and the PS5 enhancements. So that I could, because they said they're going to make more director's cuts. They confirmed this already.
So they're going to go ahead and milk the cow that is a director's cut?
That's what the company who makes Persona.
Did anybody even ask for that?
They've been doing that for ages. I personally didn't, but I don't mind it, if that makes sense. I never asked for them to do a Death Stranding director's cut because Hideo Kojima was already on acid when he made that game. So when they're making, let's do more of it, it's like, oh, okay, sure.
More acid trip.
More acid trip, baby crying, Norman Reedus in a weird sci-fi handprint world. I have no clue.
It's actually Norman Reedus. It's Norman Reedus with his Norman fetus.
Norman fetus. Indeed.
Hold on, the battery's dying on my headset.
Mads Mikkelsen. All them.
So real quick, let's go ahead and draw the attention to the chat because we got a lot of people that have a lot of things to say. So Franco Greco says hi, by the way. I think he's one of your subs.
Hey, Franco, baby.
So,
what's good, bro?
Honestly, I apologize for people in the chat. There's a lot of comments, and if I can't read them all, I'm so sorry. There's a lot. I'm just gonna hit like the big main points here. So a lot of people would probably agree, based on what I saw in the chat, that 2023 seems like a plausible, release time. Like we don't know the month or so. I'm going for fall personally for a few reasons. So he says. Looks like Young Special was like, if it's coming in 2022 or 2023, there's a giant possibility for a title reveal teaser this year. It's freaking possible, my boys. I can agree with that sentiment, but we haven't even received word about production status or anything like that. Not even a teaser, not even a little audio clip of Marvel Spider-Man 2. So we should probably get one in December. I mean, isn't Comic-Con coming as well? And we have a State of Play or a State of Play coming soon too, right?
Right. So right now there's rumors that the next Sony State of Play, because the previous one we got like a couple weeks ago where they focused on that Deathloop game, which
I don't care about. Honestly, I don't really care too much for Deathloop. I don't care. I really love single-player games.
I'm also just as a personal preference, I'm just not a fan of FPSs, first-person shooters. I've never been my cup of tea. Nothing against them. I'm just like, it's not really for me. But yeah, that was their big this is gonna be like what E3 was, where it was kind of bad and only online.
Thank you for subscribing, the Z Killer. Sorry.
No worries.
We have notification. I have notifications when people subscribe. I get a JoJo going nice. So
that's hilarious.
If you ever watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, that's what it is.
That's hype. Dude, I love
So anyway,
JoJo.
yeah,
So good.
JoJo's awesome. Anyways, so continuing.
But yeah, no problem. But yeah, there are rumors that the next major Sony state of play, where the rumor is that we're going to see play finally of God of War Ragnarok.
Which I can't
more
wait for.
gameplay of Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
And some other Sony properties, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe with Spider-Man 2. Now, the reason why I say huge emphasis on maybe is because the sad thing is, and I know Ronnie completely forgot about this game, and I don't blame him, Marvel's Avengers is still a game that exists.
I'm sorry, what?
Spider-Man is set to be in that game.
I beg your pardon? Oh, wait, hold on a second. I think I know what you're talking about.
Maybe. I made Ronnie rage quit, you guys.
You mean this piece of shit?
Yeah, bro! Oh my god.
This has been collecting dust on my shelf for 6 months. I can't play it. This is regret. This is what regret looks like. I can't. I have to burn it. I have to.
It hurts.
It really hurts. I have pins that came with the game since I pre-ordered it. They're nice fucking pins, but this game sucks.
It hurts when I see it amongst the collection of PS4 games that I own.
Yeah.
And they're like all the greatest hits, right? Like, yes, the Nathan Drake collection, Persona 5 Royal, my game of the year last year, both Spider-Man games with John Bubniak, game of the year edition on PS4, Miles Morales. And then I see Marvel's Avengers just right there sitting in the corner like...
Dude, I can't bring myself... Listen, I can't bring myself to play it, okay? Because, like, I'm a comic channel, right?
Yes.
I can't play it. Like, it's bad. I can't. And I'm not...
It's not fun!
I'll tell you this right now. I am not a drinker. Neither am I an avid drinker. But this made me want to sip down some rocks. Like, just some martini with rocks. Like, just... I wanted to drink myself to death because of this goddamn game.
Pour some kerosene in a cup and just call it a day. Like, that's how it goes. I can't. Like, I only play it when new content is released to then stream it and then just put it back in the case. Because then I can't. I don't do the grinding. I don't do the consistent leveling up. I don't pay any microtransactions for that game.
Hey,
for the $15 price suits, which make no sense. But the reason why I bring that game up in the first place is because Spider-Man is still set to release sometime for that game.
Not even Spider-Man can make me play that game.
I know. I don't. Even with Black Panther and Spider-Man.
What if Spider-Man sucks in the Avengers? It's not Insomniac's version.
There are psychopaths out there. I have to say this right now. I'm gonna speak in my mic. There are psychopaths out there right now that think that the web swinging in Marvel's Avengers for Spider-Man will be better than Insomniac.
I'm sorry. I'm going full Joker here.
This is our Joker villain origin story.
I'm sorry. Wait, somebody pull up the clip of J. Jonah Jameson laughing at Peter. You're serious? Oh my god.
Standing there? Oh my god. It hurts. It hurts.
It really hurts, man.
You could be excited, and I get it because it's Spider-Man. We all love Spider-Man. But who in their right mind is thinking, Marvel's Avengers Spider-Man, greater than Insomniac Spider-Man? Like, okay, first off, how? Second off, why? I don't understand that thought process. Because it's not an open world game.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
The only type of web swinging I can think that they'll be in that is Ultimate Alliance style, where it's
where it's just limited web swing, just quick ones. It's not it's not open world Spider-Man swing. Yeah,
no parkour.
I didn't enjoy that because I really love open world Spider-Man games.
Yes, they're the best ones.
Yeah, they're the best
and
ones.
That's why, that's the flaw with that game is it doesn't. And I've said this previous times on other streams that I've done just by myself. The game is flawed because Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix made a product that tried to serve the genre instead of the characters. It was the genre first, characters second, where it was supposed to be characters first, genre second. What do you think of when you think of Avengers? You think of story, you think of action, you think of really cool set pieces. No, sorry, let me rephrase that. You think of looting, you think of grinding.
Exactly.
You think of microtransactions.
I hate
think
that.
Of gear.
You know what's disappointing about the Avengers game?
What?
You know what's really disappointing about the Avengers game? when trying to upgrade and looting and everything like that, you don't ever feel this sense of rewarding, like this sense of accomplishment. Like whenever you level up, it's by like a smidge. It's barely discernible, and it's so disappointing. And I hate it. I hate this goddamn game. I wanted to throw it away, but it's $60 horribly spent.
Progress is not meaningful enough. And
It doesn't feel like
this
it.
Comparison is that Genshin Impact is the exact same thing,
Right?
except it's 1,000 times better. It is a live service game,
Nothing can
except it's
convince
free
me
to
to play that
play.
game again.
So everything you can unlock in that game is not hidden behind a paywall. You can actually unlock characters and weapons and even some skins for some characters, and they're going to include new regions all for free. And you can unlock all these characters for free, all these new abilities for free. If you just keep investing time into the game, you will then make progress. And that's the bane of the existence for Marvel's Avengers, is that even when you do grind and do all those mega hives and all that and just beat up enemies repetitively with the same missions.
Grind is my bane
rewards,
of existence.
There's no reward factor that makes you feel like you're making actual progress that's meaningful to you as the player.
Right. It's my bane of existence, and it's also tiring. And I hate incessantly bashing, buttons just to like get the same thing over and over again. It's not fun. It's repetition. Repetition's never fun. And I love single player games. And I'm glad that Guardians of the Galaxy is leading to the way of the single player. It's odd that you only get to play as Peter Quill, only. In a game based off of like a group of misfits, where I was thinking that they would probably take a Spider-Man approach where if other characters are needed to be played as, you would play as them, like Mary Jane and Miles Morales, or like if a mission required you to play as Gamora, you'd play as Gamora or Rocket or Groot, just one at a time kind of thing, like where Peter's not available, so you play as the other members of the Guardians of the Galaxy to progress through the story. I was hoping for something like that, but you only play as Peter Quill. It's a little odd for me. But still, single player campaign, I'm all for it. I want to actually play this game. The game looks really weird, and it doesn't look finished. Also, we have some people in the comments section talking about how, like, they're going, can we please talk about Spider-Man No Way Home and laugh out loud? We'll get there. That's the juicy part.
I don't even know if you guys want me to talk about No Way Home.
Oh, man, because I think you have, like, some shit to say, but we will get there. We will get there, guys. Do not despair. If you lose
any subs because of me, I am so sorry.
No. I should not lose subs. I mean, I like to remain neutral, and I'm the kind of guy who goes like, we'll have to wait and see and watch it before I can actually make that kind of judgment call.
I've been that way too, except the difference, and we were talking about this earlier before we started streaming, is that if there's like people who say you can't be negative towards a game or a movie before it's out, like, sorry, aren't you excited for a game or a movie because it's out?
Yeah.
So isn't that the same logic there? So it's like, if I see a trailer for a movie and it looks mediocre, then therefore I'm expecting it at face value to be a mediocre movie. So if
trailer,
it is in fact a mediocre movie, then I'm in fact like, oh, my expectations were set regularly. Like, so take Venom for example. I went in Venom, the first one, seeing it, like, thinking with the trailers it was going to be kind of like really interesting, kind of character-driven type of focus about Venom and the symbiote's bond. That was what the first trailer kind of told me, with that darker tone, very serious type of aesthetic, very personal with Eddie Brock's narrative, which I really wanted, just like the Joker movie did.
Yeah.
And then it just turned out to be like this rom-com with Eddie and the symbiote, and it's like, no.
By the way, Young Special said it just what I was thinking. What about a teaser similar to God of War Ragnarok, something like that? That's what I'm talking about. Well, I was actually expecting some sort of a teaser where we hear Peter's voice and Miles' voice, or just Peter and Miles getting ready to team up and let's go and save New York again or whatever. I was expecting some sort of audio clip teaser as well. So I'd be happy with that.
Even what I love the most about Insomniac's marketing is that they know how to present the product properly to the public. Because when you first saw the Spider-Man PS4 teaser trailer in 2016,
that was something.
That really started my whole journey on YouTube, and the reason why I'm able to talk to your amazing self today is because it's like, oh, cool, the cityscape, really cool open world aesthetic. What is this? Oh, Insomniac. Okay, it's not Sucker Punch, but it's Insomniac. All right, well, and then all of a sudden he says Queens. It's like, oh my God,
It's
my
Spider-Man.
boy. Oh, and then they show him in that advanced suit, and then you see
The
like,
suit-
oh, he's swinging in the city. So it's
The
open
suit threw
world.
me
Oh,
off, by
that's-
the way, when I first saw this.
Right.
I'm like, what is he wear? Why is he wearing that? I'm like,
But that's the cool thing.
that
is,
was like,
immediately, oh,
I'm
it's
like,
not
it
a
grew on
tie-in.
me. It grew on me quickly,
It's
though.
not an MCU tie-in. It's its
Yeah.
own thing. So same thing with Miles when they did the 1 minute 20 seconds long trailer. They did the same. It's literally like poetry. It
Right.
rhymes. They did the exact same thing with the Spider-Man PS4 reveal trailer and the Miles reveal trailer. Like, well, what is this game on the PS5? You know, it's enhanced. Oh, you know, really cool next generation breaking games. Oh, what's this? Oh, Lightning. Oh, Infamous maybe? Oh, no. And then you hear narration, and then you hear Yuri Lowenthal's voice, and then it's Miles. So then, oh, and then they just show little small clips, tiny clips of the gameplay, and then Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. That's all they
Yeah.
have to do for the sequel. Just some little cool narration, some teasing of an open world setting with New York maybe, or what the rumor is that the sequel might take place in Tokyo. I don't know if that'll
Who
happen.
came up with that rumor?
So this actually comes from a YouTuber in the gaming industry who has some inside sources named Luke Stevens, and he was the one who said, "Oh, from what I'm hearing, Marvel Spider-Man 2 will take place in Tokyo." And I'm like, "Really?" Because there was no leading up to that in Miles or the first game. Like there was no
Marvel
inclination
Spider-Man.
like they're gonna go in Tokyo in the sequel.
Right.
But at the same time, I kind of get it because we've already explored New York twice now. So you're gonna do it a third time, which I would not mind. In fact,
I
want
wouldn't
them to
mind.
expand
Don't
it
Far From Home it,
because-
please.
Please don't Far From Home it. Exactly, because I want them to do I want them to double down. In
You know
fact,
how
I want them to
disappointing-
go to Brooklyn, go to the Bronx, go to Queens.
You know
You
how
know,
disappointing it was for
all
me
that.
when I watched Far From Home. You know how disappointing it was for me to not see Spider-Man swing as much as, like, let's say Tobey Maguire did in one film, more than Tom Holland's ever did in all the films he's appeared in. You know how saddening that was. He's Spider freaking Man. He's got to swing from buildings and rooftops and jump off of them. He barely does that. Even Homecoming, the initial movie of the franchise, which takes place in New York, and he drives a car for a long portion of that. I watched that movie in retrospective, by the way, Evan. I'll tell you what, because me and my girlfriend also, we basically
Spider
binged.
Marathon.
No, we binge watched every single MCU movie in the MCU, including Homecoming and Far From Home. So in retrospect, when I look at it now, I'm like, you know what? This movie is just fine. It's Spider-Man. I love him, right? But it's just fine. It's weird. There's a lot of people involved. It doesn't feel too personable. It doesn't feel like a high schooler is dealing with high school problems. I feel like a lot of things are just handed to him, and that's not the direction that I wanted for Peter Parker to go in the MCU. And then I thought, being that Peter Parker is now in the MCU, I thought they would give him the classic Spidey kind of treatment because Marvel Studios knows best, and they would probably, you would think that they draw from the source material to give it a good, proper, accurate treatment, like something new and different, of course, but better, something like more accurate, I guess. And I that's why I like the Tobey Maguire films now more, still. So
All they had to do was literally modernize
Spider-Boy.
Ultimate Comics
Yeah.
and the early Lee Ditko era and reinvent it for a modern age.
Right.
And boom, you got Spider-Man.
Random
for the
guy
MCU,
says huge
and
fan.
You can do all that while he's interacting with the Avengers, while he's going in space fighting
Iron Boy
aliens
Jr.
and all this cool stuff. But they
Yeah.
don't blend the human side of the character enough into Peter's core to balance with the Spider-Man side of him being an Avenger or being with the Avengers, or him utilizing Iron Man's tech being Spider-Man, and him in No Way Home supposedly going to be using Doctor Strange magic to fight other villains.
Ugh.
Stupid, but whatever.
It's weird.
It's
weird.
very weird, and I get it in the sense of what you were saying is that the Tobey movies are more enjoyable in the sense because guess what? They're Spider-Man. They
Yeah.
understand the character.
Yeah.
They understand what it means to be that relatable, do-gooder, but also trying to struggle with personal problems that everyone
Exactly.
can relate to. Not just as a kid, or in the movie, like in the first one, he just graduated high school
Right.
in that movie, right? So he was still like an 18, 19-year-old.
Yeah, who looks like a
But he's
30-year-old.
still, relatable in exactly those 30-year-old high school students getting held back for 10 plus years probably.
Yeah,
But like
Deathstroke went
even
to school
then,
with him.
no matter when he was in high school, right? When he was in university, and then when he got a job in the Daily Bugle, all those times he was relatable every single time. So that's why I can't relate to this, type of super sophisticated prep school type of high schooler without dealing with the core traits of Peter Parker problems.
Yeah.
And that's not a discredit to Tom Holland, because he's a great actor and I think he's great in the role. It's about the writing and the directing of how they portray Spider-Man in the universe. Notice the difference. It's a 180 between how Anthony and Joe Russo handled Spider-Man in Civil War versus how Watts handled him in Homecoming.
I was hoping, like, I was already
it's a
feeling
completely different character.
When we first were introduced to Peter Parker in Civil War, I already got the sense and felt the tone of like Peter living in of Peter's struggles, living in this little apartment in Queens. They're not exactly, they're just middle class, close to poor. And I was hoping that tone would be carried over into Homecoming, but Homecoming felt like an entirely different film, tone-wise, from what we got in Civil War. So I was hoping like some of that would be carried over. And I was also hoping that the rumors about Iron Man making Spider-Man suit weren't true, because as we all know, Spider-Man sewed and made his own costume. Every superhero needs a costume. So I think that's one of the quotes in the comics, if Peter Parker said that. Or no, every spider needs a web. He created his own cartridge. At least he did that. So, anyways,
Right.
So let's go back to the comments here. A random guy's thoughts. He says he's a huge fan of yours.
Oh,
Moose,
thank
yay,
you.
really. Eddie Delgadillo, Queens and Brooklyn at least. Okay, so we'll get into that in a second, because I also have things to say about New York and like its assets in the game in the PS5. I have some expectations for New York City itself, because that's a character. That's a character in the Spider-Man games.
Yes.
So,
and you have more insight because you played the remaster and Miles on PS5.
Right.
So this is interesting because I haven't, so it'll be cool to hear from your perspective. How can
So-
next gen further improve Spider-Man? Not just for it'll look better,
Right.
it'll run better, it'll load faster, but what what we've seen from Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. How
So
can
you-
the PS5 exclusivity enhance that experience?
So I gotta tell you right off the bat, Evan, that you gotta play it yourself. If you lived around here, I'd let you come over and say, "Dude, like here, take it. Like play this, for like 5 hours." It's a hell of an experience. My brother has Miles Morales for the PS4. It's still a remarkable looking game. It looks good. However, what surpasses the PS4 versus the PS5 version is the loading times. Instantaneous loading times. We're talking like 8 seconds just to load up the game from the main menu. I'm in the game in 8 seconds. It's badass. Also, as grandiose and beautiful that New York City does look, because it's like the best looking New York City I've ever seen, including the remastered version of Marvel Spider-Man. I feel like I'm the total snob and jerk when I ask for more, when I want to ask for more. I don't know if that's normal for me to ask for more, because I feel like New York City does look great and it does feel grandiose, but not grandiose enough. It's not big enough. I feel like New York City is still compressed. I do want more exploration as far as more access to boroughs like Queens and Brooklyn and Bronx and stuff like that. And I feel like PS5 is more than capable and ready for something like that in the next in the sequel. So I don't want New York City to be compressed, because there's a lot of things that are clearly missing from New York City. Like, I've been to New York and the buildings do feel huge, but I feel like they can be bigger. Like, I don't know. I feel like something's missing from New York City in the game. Maybe
What I think they did really well. Sorry, just to say
yeah,
thing.
no problem.
What I think they did really well with Miles that enhanced the game is add culture.
Right,
Harlem,
they did that. Yeah,
which is really cool how they enhanced it's just that one small little district,
little
of
Puerto
Manhattan.
Rican Hispanic thing.
Yeah,
That they
and it's
added. I was like, that's cool.
You see the financial district. You even get little elements of that with Chinatown, which look cool, and they have
Yeah.
elements of that.
I
in
love the
that
Christmas deco.
district.
Yeah, it's
but
beautiful.
The Christmas decorations and the Puerto Rican, Hispanic, even African American cultures, blending that into this fusion of life and culture and just diversity into that one district made the ultimate difference between the
I
first
wish
game to Miles.
I wish I don't know, like it was a good idea for Sony to launch Spider-Man Miles Morales for PS5, you know, as like it's like a good selling marketing tactic, I guess you can call it.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I wish it wasn't, because I feel like more time could have been taken to develop that game. Like just a little bit more
Mm.
time, maybe a better story. I'm not saying the story was awful. The one flaw I have with this game is the character of Tinkerer,
Yeah.
where she was hiding a huge whopping secret, and at the same time she's being a hypocrite and talking about how she's upset about how Miles hid a secret of his own, when she was like the biggest hypocrite of all, and she was so annoying towards like the middle part of the game. It was so
Right.
bad, but
At
whatever.
that point, like, I get it because it's a shorter game,
Yeah.
so therefore there's less time to develop the characters, which is why the first game,
Yeah,
for story reasons, I would say remains superior. The gameplay for Miles is obviously better, but the story is what I'm there for mainly as a fan of the characters.
hmm,
So I really appreciate the first game more, taking all that time to divulge into the deepness of the characters and their relationships with each other. And yeah, like she just introduced, like, "Hey, Miles, I'm your best friend. What's up?" And we don't really get their past interactions. We just get a couple flashbacks, and that's it, really.
right.
So it's like, well, you say you're his best friend, but I don't feel that, really. And you kind of get that interaction with them during the Christmas dinner and all that, but it's not as impactful as the amount of time spent with Otto and Peter, for example,
Oh,
compared
that was
to
great, man. I loved it.
Miles and Finn.
A lot of that element reminded me of Spider-Man 2, the Sony movie. Real quick, Franco Greco made a good point, and also
My boy.
I want to go also go back into like nostalgia times. So Franco says, I really want dual swinging from Spider-Man 3 to be in the sequel because it'll make the swinging more cinematic. What do you guys think? So to answer that question,
Chico's a genius.
I've loved the dual swinging thing since like since Spider-Man 2 from 2004 for the PS2. You can actually do that and yo-yo and slingshot yourself. So I'm thinking like,
Yeah.
why isn't this in the game? So like that's like a Spider-Man experience. Like I wanted to imagine myself doing that where I'm getting ready to slingshot myself and yank myself over, like yeet myself across a bunch of blocks. And I'm like,
Yes.
this reminds me of Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 where he launched himself to like the bridge.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to
Like
do that. I
50
want to
feet.
feel like the stakes are high, and I want to feel like I need to get somewhere real quick, or else people that I love are gonna die. So I'm like, this makes me feel like Spider-Man. Like this is very Spider-Man. This is a very Spider-Man-ish thing to do. So
Yes.
like, why don't they do that? And I think Insomniac should totally implement that feature, at least that swinging a bit, make it an unlockable ability. You know?
Yeah. More
Something.
traversal.
Traversal
For
unlockable.
sure.
Also increase the swing speeds a little bit more. I feel like the swinging could be a little bit faster.
And the reason why they did that, if you noticed, is because the console itself has to run all those assets for the city,
Yeah.
the NPCs, the
Yeah.
visual aesthetic of New York,
Yeah.
the manifestations of random crime. So there's a lot of processing abilities going into the base game on the PS4 version, which I don't care what they say. Like, oh, we developed it first for PS5 and then downscaled it for PS4. That's not how game development works. So
Yeah.
they mainly had to make sure that it ran properly on PS4 first for Miles and the first game, and then enhance it further for advanced consoles with the remaster and Miles on PS5, which is why if the sequel is a PS5 exclusive, then you can get that. You can get that huge city, massive buildings, massive blocks of city streets, and swing like Mach 5 speed, Web of Shadows style throughout the city, slingshot from one block to the next without loading. Because I have actually had it at some times with Miles on my PS4.
Yeah.
I've swung a bit fast with the Venom dash,
Yeah.
where you can
Yeah.
kind of boost in midair, and
Yeah.
it takes like a split, tiny, like minuscule second for like the city to like load in frame. And
That doesn't
kind of
happen in the
boost
PS5
resolution.
version, actually.
I know,
It's
but it's
beautiful,
so
man.
slight. I never notice it because it's so small. But yeah, PS5 of course is the best version
Yeah.
performance-wise, but the PS4 it still runs fully well. But you do see like the difference in quality for that console versus the PS5. So
Oh,
when they
no.
do that, like swing Mach 5 speed style, Franco Greco with the amazing dual swing. Yes, my boy.
We
Need
got
that
we got a super
instantly.
chat, by the way. Sorry about that.
Oh,
So
congrats.
look, you're about to hear a scream, Evan. Sorry.
Oh, no worry. I actually have the stream muted.
No,
That's
you're.
okay.
Oh no, I'm just saying like there's a scream is gonna like show up, like of I don't know if you ever see Rocket Man from like 1997. You ever see that Disney movie?
Oh, I don't.
There it is, right there. Yeah, it's just some. I don't think you've ever seen. It's a comedy. It's a Disney movie. It's an old one. When somebody super chats me, you see like a man flamboyantly screaming like a little girl. Thank you for the super chat, Andre. I really appreciate it. 1 second, Evan. I gotta fix something real quick.
No worries. I'm a young one. I got to catch up on my culture. Sadly, I'm not as hip as Ronnie, guys. I apologize.
Because I forgot to do it. All right. So we just got a super chat, and I'm just gonna put it right here. There you go. So when somebody super chats, like you hear like a man flamboyantly screaming like a little girl.
Very nice.
So it's just a really funny movie. I love that movie since I was a kid. But thank you for the super chat, Andre. I appreciate you. So his question is, would you like a spot boss fight? I don't know what that means. Evan, do you know what that means?
Do you know the villain?
Oh, the villain spot. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was like
spot.
yeah, the villain of the spot. Yes. I don't know, man. Like I don't know. Maybe like as a side mission. Mystical. Yo, you did a video with Mystical talking about Tenaz season 2. I watched that, by the way. It was awesome.
Thank you.
I'm actually
depressed. Mystical, my boy. I'm sad. There's no
Evan. I'm actually I don't know if you know this, Evan, but I'm actually going to be providing the voice for Wolverine in Mystical's project.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. I still have to send him the voice lines. I didn't record it yet. Mystical, I'll get back to you on that shortly. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
That's awesome.
So Young Special, it's obviously going to be focusing. Yeah, I'm already practicing the lines. I'm like, hey, bub, like. But anyways, giving the black suit the spotlight. It's obviously going to be focusing Peter on the symbiote. I don't know if you can say it's obvious, but yes, that is like a aspect that we can expect. We can definitely dive deep into like the whole symbiote and what kind of storyline they're going to follow and what they're going to borrow from the comics. Nick Anderson, hi. Young Special is really active. Hey, Young Special. I love Rocket Man.
What's up, guys?
So some new guy you don't know said, I love Rocket Man. Me too. I love Rocket Man. I also love the new Rocket Man that came out, the story about Elton John. I love that
John,
one.
yeah. I did see that.
That movie was awesome. TJ.
What's his name? Taron Egerton?
Yeah,
his name?
Taron Egerton, something like that. Aaron Egerton, something like that.
Eagle
TJ,
Man?
yeah, I feel like the Spot would be a nice change of a pace. I don't know, man. The Spot's not such a well-known villain to me.
So the reason why I think it could happen is because Insomniac has already literally just did it with Rift Apart, with all the portals flying around.
Right,
you go
the
from
Spot.
dimension to dimension.
Right.
So
I think it's
he does
possible.
that. Like, imagine
That's gonna be
flying
seamless on the
from one
PS5, dude. That's gonna be
dude.
seamless.
That's why if they include, okay, here's the thing. If they include the Spot or Mysterio in the sequel,
Yeah.
that then needs to be a PS5 exclusive. Can you imagine how much trippy stuff we could see?
Dude,
we already
that'll
got
be
a brief glimpse of what could happen with the Scorpion fight, with the tail and the poison hallucination. With all
but
that.
that'll be a cinematic fight, dude. That'll be a cinematic fight.
Yeah,
that's
and
gonna be
seamless,
beautiful.
by the way.
Seamless
Transition from cinematic to the boss fight, which is
Yeah.
that's already the first game on PS4. But they could do it double down. Just double down on everything for the sequel. More of New York, more Spider-Man traversal, more combat abilities, more villains, more interaction with Miles and Peter, now both being Spider-Man. More, suits, I guess, if you're a cosmetic guy. I'm a guy who's gonna... I don't know if you can tell, Ronnie, behind me, what my favorite suit is. I don't know if you can...
I don't know. I think it's probably the Raimi websuit.
Not really. I don't know.
No, I think it's the advanced. It's the advanced suit, probably too.
Yes. It's
is
the
it?
advanced suit. That's
Is it? Oh man, I wonder what that gave that.
I don't know what gave it away.
Yeah.
I don't know what really gave that away.
It's not coming to me, man. I don't know, bro.
Like, I don't know. No, actually, my favorite one's the undie suit. From
my little memorabilia is like right over there. Like I
see the Spidey statue.
Yeah, and like a couple of bobbleheads of different versions of him. Real quick,
all the cool stuff is in front of me. All the time you just posted. All the cool stuff is literally just right above me.
Mine is far away in the corner behind my guitars. Real quick, so Phantom, guys, again, I apologize if I can't read all your comments. There's just so many for me to read, and I gotta say real quick, thank you for joining the live stream.
Yes.
I'm averaging on like 60, 70 viewers at a time on all my live streams, and I couldn't be any more humbled. Like, I love this, and this is the start of something really great. I'm building a community. I've always wanted a community of my own like this, and Thank you for joining.
And I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me. And
Thank
everyone
you for
leave a
joining me,
like
Evan. Yeah,
and
yeah.
subscribe
Spam
to
the
News
like,
to Astonish.
spam the like, and I'm already getting subscribers already joining, subscribing right now. Some people have their accounts on private. That's why I don't get notifications. So Phantom 360. Do you think Gwen will ever make an appearance in the game in the sequel? I don't think so.
So okay, well you say your thing first, and then I'll give my thoughts because
So
we already kind of know something about it.
I don't think it. I don't think she will. However, I have the feeling that there's already an existing history of Peter and Gwen in this Insomniac universe. So
And you are correct.
Yeah.
Because they actually confirmed that in the prequel novel, where there's this other lab assistant that Peter worked with alongside of Otto at the time, and there's,
I have the novel
hints
too. And I
that
forgot
was,
about that.
Gwen Stacy. So they're teasing that not only does she exist, but she's also alive.
Yeah.
And that she hasn't experienced that because Green Goblin doesn't exist yet.
Yeah,
and we're going to probably get that in a later game if we get Norman turning into the Goblin.
Do you think instead of killing her, do you think instead of killing her, she could become Spider-Gwen or no?
Please
they wouldn't do a Spider-Verse in Insomniac's version.
Get that out. I'm sorry.
Get that out.
Just like No Way Home.
Yeah.
Get the Spider-Verse out.
Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Mr. Aziz, go.
Yeah.
Go. Literally. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, like.
Okay, so
there's no inclination that the Spider-Verse exists in the Insomniac verse, so please go away with that, and really keep that with the fan fictions in the corner of Spider-Verse 2. We're already gonna get the Spider-Verse, and
go away.
Keep this a grounded universe, because Bill Roseman already went on record saying, from Marvel Games,
he's a grounded one.
The reason why Miles Morales is usually from another dimension in the comics, and like, well, when we make our game, what if he was just in the universe as a person already? And it's like, we can do that, and that's so smart. They're geniuses over there because that makes sense. It grounds the character in reality, that it actually understands the connection that you can build with Peter and Miles as a team. And then you don't have to do like, oh, here's a portal coming in with Spider-Ham. Oh, here's a portal coming in with Spider-Gwen. Oh, here's Spider-Man. Aunt May is Spider-Man. She's alive and she's a Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
Please no. So I do not want the Spider-Verse to touch these games. Keep that away and I'll be happy.
Well, here's another thing. Young Special. So he has a pretty good question. He says, tell me, do you think Spider-Man 2 to be a Spider-Man game? Honestly, be careful. Don't get it twisted because Miles is in the mix. I'm just saying. So my answer to that is no. Insomniac seems to be very, very skilled in making stories that are solely focused on one character with all the characters that surround that said character. So I think this is going to be very much a Peter Parker driven story with everybody else in the mix, including Miles Morales. So not exactly a Spider-Man game. I think if given the chance throughout the game as you progress through the campaign, if necessary, you will have probably a chance to play as Miles Morales if Peter Parker Spider-Man is not available in a certain part of the story, But it'll probably most likely be a solely a Spider-Man Peter Parker driven kind of game, and maybe there's a possibility when you complete the game at 100%, you'll have access to switch between Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Miles Morales Spider-Man. So it's a possibility.
I'm sure you can free roam with both of them at some points. If
yeah,
you,
probably.
Say you beat the game, say funny enough, Spider-Man 3, the game, the movie tie-in game on the PS3 did this, where you beat the game your first time around, and then you can switch between red suit Spider-Man or black suit Spider-Man because they have two separate movesets, unlike Web of Shadows where that's implemented in the game, or even Ultimate Spider-Man where you can play as Spider-Man or Venom at the end, then you can just free roam as Venom and do whatever you want at the end of that game. So I could see either during some points of the story you can choose I want to swing around as Miles right now. No, I want to go back to Peter. You know what? No, I'm going to be black suit Spider-Man Peter this time. So there's a lot of variety at disposal that they can access, and a lot of potential for possibly dual play interaction, kind of like Batman Arkham Knight, where you can team up with Miles at some points of the game and fight enemies together as a team, which would be sick. And that already is set in stone because of the end of Miles, where they're swinging off in the sunset together.
That was pretty cool.
Crime.
But then like
which was
Miles
sick.
took like the front and center kind of shot, you know, when he's swinging off.
And like you said, because that was his own game.
Yeah, that
and
was
that's
his
the
own
great thing
game.
is that they had a whole game to focus on Miles' character. It was his story,
Yeah.
his villains, his fight. Peter wasn't even in New York during that, which was great. You know, it's like,
It's a convenience.
why doesn't Iron Man Jr. come in to help? Why doesn't the Avengers come in to help? No,
Yeah.
because he's Miles. He's doing his own thing. He's not even in the same country as Miles. So it's like, sweet. That's how you do it. And it really gives a lot of variety and potential for boss battles too, because are you gonna fight a boss as Peter? Are you gonna fight Miles as Peter when he wears the black suit? Are you gonna fight Peter? Or are you gonna fight Peter as Miles when he's in the black suit?
You know, that's another thing. I want to
like,
see a Peter Parker Spider-Man black suit being a boss for Miles. I want to see that. And also,
he needs to kick ass.
Franco
Yes.
Franco's asking you, Evan, to do more reactions to the Naz episodes.
My boy. Oh, I'm glad you like that. Sadly, it didn't get enough traction as I hope it would, but I'm glad the response seemed positive. So yeah,
Christo.
I think the other episodes out there is Royal Scam and the Lizard one.
Yeah.
Really my favorite, Law of the Jungle, which is 2 and 3.
When I see that clip,
when
I see the clip of the lizard diving for Spider-Man in Tanaz, when I always see that clip, I always think about the openings you had in your earlier Spider-Man video days, where like the music plays and it's just the lizard like diving to fight Spider-Man. I think about you, Evan. Like you come to my mind, bro. Like seriously.
That's so sweet.
But then honestly, I ended up copying you by doing some like similar openings or whatever because I thought that would also gain some traction too.
It's sick. No, I love your intros for the Spider-Man videos because they're great.
Thank you so much.
And it uses the theme of the game because I'm like, I just love Tanaz so much. I got to represent it as much as I can. So like, I'll do the 101 intro with Tanaz music. Why not? So.
My first experience with Tanaz was in a hotel room.
Oh.
I discovered Tanaz in a hotel room. I was 13 years old.
Wow.
Like this was right around the time that
I
was like, okay, let me just turn on MTV because I was like an MTV kid when I was a kid. So I'm like, I was a fan. You know, there's like music videos, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. There's no music videos. And then this cartoon shows up, and I'm like, my dad goes like, is that a new Spider-Man series? I'm like, yeah. I don't know.
On MTV?
On MTV, and I'm like, why is it on MTV? Is this something wrong here? I'm like, let me watch it. And then it says with Neil Patrick Harris. I'm like, Dad, Neil Patrick Harris is it? Dookie Howser is in this show. He's Peter Parker. Anyways, yeah, that was like my first time and I was in Orlando, I think, and where I discovered Tanaz. So if it wasn't for me flicking on the TV, I would have never discovered it, and maybe I would have discovered it in my later years. So Christo, hello. Crystal says, the villain in No Way Home is another Tony Stark fired employee. I swear, I'm getting tired of these Tony Stark relationships that these people just so happen to conveniently have, which happen to be in a Spider-Man movie. I'm getting tired of it.
He called my work barf. Therefore, I will become a villain. Got it.
Roderick, dude, another super chat, by the way. Roderick Kingsley, thank you for the super chat. What's your guys' favorite Spider-Man stories? You know what? I can go all day on that, but we're about to get a man screaming. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat, Roderick. Now that's a damn good question. I have a couple of good stories. But Evan, you want to answer that one?
Sure. It's tough because there's so many.
There's so many good ones.
Mainly, there are a lot of good ones. I always go back to like just because of how embedded in my mind it is, and there's an entire video game based off of it, so it's a damn good story if that's the case. Is the Ultimate Spider-Man Venom storyline? The volume 6.
You really like that one?
The Venom saga. It's good, dude. It's one of my favorites. The kid who collects Spider-Man's always a good one too.
That's a sad
very
story.
heart-wrenching.
I love that one.
And also some of there's really like old like Marvel Knights comics that are really trippy, like with Morbius and Spider-Man having some really interesting interactions with each other.
Yeah.
At some point, or like in that kind of era of like darker Marvel stuff is really odd. I swear to God, if I see someone say Spider-Man Reign, oh boy.
No.
Whew, please no.
Oh wait, what about One More Day?
Okay, thanks for having me.
All right, take care. Guys, the stream is over. Let's go. Bye.
Yeah, cancel. All
All right, so funny thing that I mentioned that because now I'm going to tell you my favorite Spider-Man story. So I actually have these issues. Spider-Man 299 and Spider-Man 300, the introduction of Venom, first appearance. Spider-Man, #1, Spider-Man, Todd McFarlane Spider-Man, where the lizard is on a rampage killing people.
Ooh.
So I'm a huge fan of like darker stories of Spider-Man, and also the issues that take place directly before the events of One More Day, because I don't have that piece of that's garbage. I don't have it. So it's where Spider-Man wears a black costume because his Aunt May was shot.
Yeah.
And he personally goes to a prison where Kingpin is being held in prison, and he brutally beats his ass near death. I love that story.
Back in Black, right?
Back in Black, that's the one. Yeah, I forgot the title. I just briefly forgot the title, but I love Back in Black. It's a great story.
It's excellent.
I just love it when Peter, like, you know.
He unmasked.
Brandy, thanks for subscribing. Thank you. I love Peter, how he cuts loose in that story. He took off that mask knowing that there might be some consequences because of everybody that's in that prison now saw his face. He doesn't give a shit. He's filled with anger. His blood is boiling in that moment. So I'm like, this is really interesting. And I really love this. This is a great Spider-Man story. And it's like really personal. His aunt was shot. He's filled with rage. He broke like 11 laws in that issue.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Crystal says, Ronnie, I know I always say it, but what about Big Wheel as a villain in either the movie or next game? Big Wheel? Are you serious right now?
Bro, he's the main villain of No Way Home.
You gotta be kidding me.
This was obvious.
No, you gotta be kidding me.
Take Doctor Strange, 2 other Spideys, and magic to stop Big Wheel. He can't be topped or rolled out of the way.
You can't be serious. You really think... Nah, Big Wheel's like a comedic freaking villain.
I love how they referenced him in Miles Morales, if you remember, with one of the time capsules.
I don't remember.
He picks it up, and there was like a little tiny wheel Easter egg. Like, oh, this is a nice little moon roller type vehicle to traverse space.
You know, honestly, I don't recall that because Big Wheel's like an F+ villain.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
D-list,
not even D, just F+. He's a moron in a gigantic Ferris wheel.
Him, probably Rocket Racer, and like, I don't know, like some other like one of the White Rabbit. Is that the one I'm thinking of? Or
yeah. The
some of the villains that the Superior Spider-Man fights in one of those stories. By the way, hate Superior Spider-Man. Please, for the love of God, Insomniac, do not use that story in the sequel. I'm gonna cry if you do.
You don't like Superior Spider-Man?
No, sorry.
Sorry.
That's where I kind of stopped reading comics, to be honest, for Superior Spider-Man, because mainly of like I get it, kind of, but mainly because of how terrible the repercussions were that Otto made. Parker Industries, kind of Anna Maria and all that stuff with Peter and her Otto. That
doesn't exist anymore now.
I know, but like it took them for ages to fix it. Like they're still trying to fix some elements about it. So it's like I don't know. Like it left a big impact on some of my impressions for comics. Although this is a super controversial take, I know this is one, but I can't help but love it because it's a really cool story, and I like how it fleshes out Black Cat's character. Is The Evil That Men Do? Do you know that story by Kevin Smith?
No.
It's a more like direct character story between the relationship of Peter and Felicia Hardy, but you get some really interesting kind of background lore about Felicia Hardy's character.
Right.
That kind of is NC-17 stuff. Like it's not really family friendly with her origin, but I think it really humanizes her in a way that makes her more grounded, and you understand, like, before she was like, I don't like Peter Parker, I only like Spider-Man, right? That's her whole thing.
Right.
But then you get, like, as they've teamed up in the past, before this story happened, you get to learn, oh, she really ends up caring for Peter. But this is where it starts to hit the point home harder, like, oh, she really likes Peter for Peter.
Right.
And she's like, I was so stupid and naive back in the day, trying to have this fantasy of this, man in tights brigade trying to fall in love with some, mystical hero or whatever, like that I can't fathom as a person. I don't see him as a human being, but learning who he is makes me a better person. And I really think that's a great, touch about how Felicia Hardy has these trust issues with some people, but then she feels safe
Right.
and comfortable around Peter Parker. So that's actually one of
I
my
ship them
highlights
all
for
the way. By the way, I like it's so.
yeah, dude.
I ship them all the way, but also
My favorite ship. Sorry, MJ. Even in the exactly. Yeah,
even in
Insomniac
Insomniac,
game, like,
in Insomniac games, actually, it kind of made it hard for me because MJ's a cutie in the Insomniac games version.
and it's
I'm
like
sorry.
I can't help. Laura Bailey, who voices her.
I love
It's
Laura
like,
Bailey.
yeah, fine.
Oh my
You're in
God.
every game and you're a great actress, and I respect you a lot and your talent. But then you got Erica Limbeck voicing Felicia
Hey
Hardy.
Yoshi
And
Bob.
it's just over for
Hey
me.
Spidey Talks.
It's a wrap.
Yeah,
It's
Spidey
over.
Talks just joined. Blaze
Spidey
120.
Talks.
Hello Yoshi
What's up,
Bob.
dude?
Blaze 120. What do you guys think about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming back after? Oh, we never got to answer that question about the guy that super chatted me. Who's my favorite? Hold on. No, okay, that's the Spider-Man stories. I thought he asked what's your favorite Spider-Man actor. Never mind. Tobey Maguire. We did answer that question.
Same.
Mystical is laughing really loud. Young Special. Please, do you hold on? Young Special says, please, you're a deceiver. Oh, are you talking to Spidey Talks? Please leave this conversation out of this chat. Guys, please, let's not argue with each other here.
Is there drama brewing?
Yeah, there is, but we'll just leave it alone here.
Oh boy.
It is a long time coming. Let's see. Not another gamer. Do you think Harry will be Venom in the next game? You know what? That's what everybody's saying, but I'm starting to lean towards a no. A hard no.
Really? Ooh.
I don't know. So here's my theory. Eddie Brock already exists in the Insomniac Games universe. At some point, maybe Eddie Brock would reconnect with Peter Parker in a sequel, and maybe Harry, Peter, and Eddie will hang out as friends, and the remnants of like the symbiotes will like leech off of Harry, go on to Peter. He'll have the black suit, and then there's like a fallout between him and Eddie. I don't know if that's gonna go like that, because I'm thinking like they're best friends, kind of like how they were bros in the Ultimate Comics, where like their fathers know each other.
Right, because in the card, in the Easter egg where
Eddie signed his card.
Eddie Brock, he says, "Great working with you."
Yeah, he signed his card. They're
So
bros.
they're on good terms. Not like suck it, Peter.
Yeah, exactly.
Peace out. Like not like that. Like he's like, oh, we're
But what if? Because like Eddie Brock is the definitive and first person to be Venom. So
yeah.
But what if
And
they
then you
do
got,
take a
Flash
twist?
Thompson and Matt Gargan and all these other characters. By the way, despise Matt Gargan Venom. Don't even bring him up in any conversation.
I don't like him, and I'm glad that the symbiote actually got rid of Matt Gargan by throwing him in a ditch when in mid jump.
Yes.
It separated
or was that
itself.
That other guy.
That was Matt Gargan.
That was
no, that wasn't Matt Gargan. Excuse me. That was
that Asian guy. I thought.
Yeah, he was really weak as Venom.
Because I was gonna say because he was like so unlikable. It's like, oh, let me just kill him myself.
Like in mid jump, like the Venom symbiote separates himself from him, and he dies in a ditch. It was really quick.
Yeah.
It wasn't Matt Gargan. Matt Gargan was actually weaker than Venom, like Eddie Brock's Venom. He was big, but like weak.
Anti-Venom. When he fought him in the comics.
I want Beetle in the sequel. Cool. I want Beetle in the sequel as a DLC. But
Beetle is a must-have for sure. But
maybe DLC.
We already got two. There's two post-credit scenes now with literally them saying Harry is Venom. Harry is Venom. Harry is sick. He has the symbiote on him. He's gonna try and get out of the tank now, out of the Nickelodeon GAC.
So real quick, this leads into a question that I have. We know that Harry is imbued with like the symbiote, right? Where do you suppose the symbiote came from? Was it found or was it developed in a lab?
I think they're going Ultimate style.
It was developed in a lab, but then they gained sentient and become sentient.
Yeah, because it was really odd in the Ultimate Comics where they did go that route. Yeah. Where they acted like it started to have a mind of its own, which is kind of the thing that it has. But then they kind of, in the weird Amazing Spider-Man game universe, if you play the Amazing Spider-Man 2, they're like, oh, the symbiote is actually nanites that form the thing. Like, no, go away with that. But no, this is like really Ultimate themed, and I'm super digging it because Devil's Breath was literally supposed to be a cure for Harry and his mom's disease, right? Yeah. And they have this whole list of Oscorp tech and stuff, biological items that Norman is obsessing over, all these biomaterials, literally for the sole purpose of trying to cure Harry. And because he failed curing his wife, Emily Osborn. So now he's trying to cure Harry. And on the list, you see like the GR27
Yeah.
and then GR35.
Yeah.
And I think the number of that significance for 35, I think maybe, I could be wrong, the issue 35 of Amazing Spider-Man, I think, is the first appearance of Venom?
Yeah.
Or something? I don't know. But like there's, those little teases sprinkled throughout, like, oh, so they're manufacturing some substance in this universe to try and cure Harry, and the only way that they can do that is by keeping him in this, stasis in this tank to sustain him and let this substance try and heal him, or at least keep him to a state where he can't be harmed anymore.
They never clarified as far as
get out of control and form this bond with him, like how in the Ultimate Comics, the symbiote touched Peter first, and it was part of his dad's DNA that mixed with some other stuff, and it bonded with him because it recognized that DNA of Peter's blood. Right. And then when it tried and mix with Eddie, it went out of whack because it wasn't the same person. But then it lasted a bit longer for Peter, but then it got freaked out because it wasn't a finished product. The dads, Eddie and Peter's dads, didn't finish developing that substance.
Right, right.
This though,
it's an interesting take on that.
How much has been developing it with Oscorp's tech and their resources, and what else they've included in it to try and help Harry with his recovery. So
we're about to get another super chat, by the way.
He's going to come out of the tank now. In Miles, they've set up. Oh, he's out. He's coming out of the gas. So
Norman, thank you for the super chat, by the way.
Of the symbiote, maybe, or then when Peter recognizes that Harry's back or whatever, he sees him walking about or whatever, he'll.
I think Peter will be suspicious of him. Peter's aware that Harry's been sick now. They never disclosed what kind of sickness or disease he has. I'm thinking like it's probably cancer, but whatever. Norman Osborn, if you are the real Norman Osborn, thank you for the super chat for $2.70.
Stand up.
People are donating $2.79 consistently. Any genuinely good stories from Brand New Day era? I don't know if they're going to implement any of those Brand New Day eras into
we kind of already.
Yeah.
Mr. Negative.
Mr. Negative. Okay, so Blaze 120, I will get to your question. I'm sorry if I skipped your question, but like I mentioned before, I do apologize in advance if I don't get to your question. There's a lot of people talking here, so I can't read everything. It's not possible. He says, isn't the discussion featuring Spider-Man No Way Home? I don't get why you skipped my question. I didn't intentionally skip your question. There are a lot of people. It's not a race to like get your question read, and I do apologize again, but I'm doing my best here. There's like some questions that stick out, and I can't read them all. But overall, this is a discussion about everything Spider-Man, the PS5 exclusive, and now we're going into No Way Home in a second because that's going to be a juicy one.
Oh boy.
Do you think Norman will become the Goblin in the next game? And also, Blaze 120, if you want to leave a question, leave it now so then I can get a chance to read it in a bit. So do you think Norman Osborn will become Goblin in the game? So I tweeted at you, Evan, about the whole Norman being the Green Goblin at some point. Mm-hmm. I think it should be saved for the third one as the big bad because I think, arguably, the Green Goblin is Spider-Man's arch nemesis. So I'm thinking like Norman Osborn will pull a Thanos where he's like, fine, I'll do it myself. He gives himself the serum where like everybody he's hired had failed to kill Spider-Man. We hear a maniacal laugh and it cuts to black as the laugh is echoing. And I'm like thinking like that is a freaking good teaser.
And it's cool that you bring that up because guess what would push him over the edge?
What?
To go that far.
Harry dies. Yeah. And he'll blame Spider-Man. He'll blame Spider-Man.
Exactly.
He'll blame Spider-Man.
Harry will fight Peter and Miles as Venom. Obviously, we see how traumatic it was for Peter to lose Otto. Even though he didn't die, he just went to jail. But then guess who else died in the first game? Aunt May.
Right,
so they're not afraid to kill off characters in this universe. Same thing with Finn and Miles, who sacrificed herself. So if they do that, you have a big fight between Peter, Miles, and Harry. Harry is Venom. They try to save Harry, but sadly the symbiote's too powerful or whatever, so they can't save him fully. And Miles has to use the Venom powers because that's a weakness in the comics. The symbiote is weak to fire, sound, and Miles is electricity.
Yeah.
So if he does that, he might go too far by accident and then kill Harry, or he might be too weak at that point.
Right.
And he'll die. And like you said, Norman will snap. He'll say, you know what? I'm going to save my son the right way. And then take the serum, go after him as Goblin, and say that for the third game.
You know what's really cool about Insomniac's
It'll be
interpretation of you know what's really cool about Insomniac's interpretation of Norman Osborn that I do like versus like, you know, what we know him as in the comics and the games and the movies. Insomniac made Norman Osborn a very sympathetic kind of character where like in the comics he's kind of like a careless, selfish douchebag and he loves his son. He doesn't ignore him or anything like that. So I'm like, I like this Norman Osborn. He's a caring father. He's got his head straight. But you can tell he has his moments where he's going to snap. We saw hints of that. We even saw prototypes of like the Goblin gear that we know that he has in the comics. The pumpkin bombs, the helmet, the mask. I'm like, they're going to go full-blown comic book Green Goblin costume in this one. And I can't wait to see it in 4K.
Not, you know, Hulk Goblin Ultimate style. Because
I didn't like that. I never understood that when I played the Spider-Man Ultimate Spider-Man comic game for PS2. I'm like, why does the Green Goblin look like the Hulk on fire?
I thought that's who it was.
I thought that was
when I was a kid because at the time I didn't read as much.
Glizzy, thank you for subscribing. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who I thought it was.
I totally agree because that's classic.
Yuri Watanabe is not an original character, Christo. Yuri Watanabe is not an Insomniac original character. She's a comic book character. She's the Wraith in the comics. That's another thing. I want him to go.
Of Tinkerer is making Finn Mason a girl.
Was stupid.
It's
a play on it's a play on the words. It's Phineas Mason in the comics, but they made her Finn Mason.
Yeah, it's like
Finn. Yeah, but like I think
for some reason it took me a while to
Phineas Mason.
Connect that because I was thinking, where's Phineas Mason? Because I was going in thinking that Yuri was the Tinkerer.
You know, and also I don't know why they called her. I don't know why they called her specifically the Tinker. We never even saw her not one time tinker with any equipment. She just said, "Here's the equipment that we made."
Right.
And I sort of got that nickname.
Told and not show. You know the saying, "Show, don't tell." They did the opposite. They told instead of showing. Oh, my brother always.
But we never saw her actually doing that. I'm like,
and I made like what? I made the jet boots that can shoot me up like what? 50,000 feet in the air. I made the sword. I made these saw blades. Like, how did you do that? Which is why the first game is so good. Because guess what? You're there making Otto's tentacles.
Savage Birdhouse, thank you for subscribing.
Materials, creating Dr. Octopus with Peter. So good.
Yeah.
I'm still mad that the game didn't win a single award during the Game Awards. I was there.
That's sad too.
In person.
Yeah, I remember
the show, and it didn't get a single thing. Like, not even soundtrack.
No,
really,
man.
like. Or performance from Yuri Lowenthal? Like, come on.
The brilliant soundtrack was done by the composer that did the same composition for Daredevil.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
John
why?
Paisano.
Yeah, John Paisano. And I'm like, why didn't he win an award? That was a masterpiece. That was Spider-Man PS4 or Marvel Spider-Man from Insomniac is the best Spider-Man movie in my opinion. Even though it's not a movie, it's a game. But it's still like a damn good. It's better than Homecoming and Far From Home. You know, I don't hate those movies. I don't hate those movies. Full disclosure, I don't hate them. I just have a problem with them. There's a lot of opportunity.
Off you, I will say I despise Far From Home, but Homecoming is all fun. So,
yeah, but like
you can dislike me all you want.
There were opportunities with those movies, and people know it. Give me 1 second, Evan. I'll be right back. 1 second. Hold on.
No worries. Here, I'll keep the chat entertained. Let's see. All right, guys. While Ronnie's away, any questions for us about Spider-Man 2 or No Way Home or any theories about what would you like to see next from Spider-Man media? Like it could be a cartoon or a mobile game even, or some comics. The animated series that we have going on right now from Disney, I think they're making a new one, or Into the Spider-Verse 2. Let's see. Just saying, if Tobey Maguire is in the next movie, I will bring pizza into the theater. Good call, not another gamer. Great job. Let's see. Blaze120. What do you guys think of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming back after more than a decade? Don't want it. Sorry, not sorry. I love Tobey and Andrew, but make it a Tom movie. Tom Holland. I'm not a fan of the whole multiverse aesthetic because I just want them to focus on Tom and his story. This is just, it feels like fan service pandering at that point. So, you know, I love Tobey. I mean, I have a giant Spider-Man 2 poster right behind me.
Yeah.
The first movie of his is my favorite, but, you know, I'm not hyped, I would say, for the multiverse aesthetic for seeing them return. Because if there's no purpose to them returning, just multiverse fan service, it's not for me.
You
Let's
know,
see.
actually, Mystical was saying that they should put the Tanaz on Disney Plus and season 2 on Disney Plus, and I'm like, that's a good idea.
You
I
know
mean,
what's crazy
it is property
is
of
that
Disney now.
you know what's insane is that Iron Man Armored Adventures is on Disney Plus.
Right.
That's a badass, incredible Iron Man cartoon where he's a teenager.
Yeah, I
I don't know
saw
if you've seen
that.
it, Ron.
It
It's
takes
really
place
good.
like it's literally like I remember seeing that series right after like the initial like the first Iron Man movie came out. It came out after that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why did it make him a teenager? Which I didn't understand, but you know, it's fine. It was actually pretty
But
good.
for what it is, it's actually really well
Yeah.
done. So it's like, yeah, and you see, I think
And
on
Obadiah
Disney Plus,
Stan
there's
was, like,
even,
friends.
is there the '90s Spider-Man show and Ultimate Spider-Man? I think.
You know, it was taken off and then it came back.
Weird.
I love that
So,
series
and
to death, and I
You know
binge
why
it.
though is they didn't include Tanas is because the Raimi inclusion
Yeah.
for the story of
Hey,
continuing
Evan.
from the first film. So they don't
Slide
wanna
would be
make
the next.
that connection.
Evan, Nick Anderson and Moose says, "Hey, Evan,
100
slide would be the
likes
next big
for
bet."
the stream.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you, everybody, and thank you for the donos, guys. Also, if you guys don't feel like comfortable donating through Super Chat, there's an alternative to donating. The link to that is in the description. It's through my It's through my Streamlabs. There's a donation link there that you can actually donate directly to me if you don't feel comfortable donating as well. But yeah, definitely. Thank you guys so much for the support and the likes. 100 likes on the stream. I don't think I've ever had 100 likes on the stream before.
Wow.
That's amazing. And
Congrats.
we're already approaching 3,700 subscribers now. We're at 36, 48, 47. Yeah, 36, 47.
Awesome.
Yeah. You guys have been great. So, Evan, should we switch the topics to like Spider-Man No Way Home?
Are you ready?
I'm ready for this shit.
Are you ready for chat? Are you ready for me to tear John Watts a new one?
You're going to
Are
be
you
like,
guys ready for this?
I got something to say because I have problems with John Watts. He sucks. Blah, 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 blah.
It's funny because two things. One, they're like, Evan, you should stop talking about MCU Spider-Man. Check me on my YouTube channel when the last time it was I talked in a video about MCU Spider-Man.
By the way,
But
I remember you getting a
probably
lot of flack for
literally
that.
my review for Far From Home. I've done streams.
Your dad was in that
discussing-
video too.
Yes, and the funny thing about that is like, Evan, I can't believe you said John Watts should work at Target. It's like my dad is literally the one who said that, and I was just laughing at his statement because it was so funny.
Yeah, but
So
also
it's like, I don't know what you
the
guys are
amount of
talking
dislikes
about.
you got on the video, I'm like, dude, I feel bad. And then the nasty things that
Yeah.
the commenters were saying.
I turned
down.
off the comments.
I saw,
so-
yeah. But
But
damn.
they're like, they were triggered because at the time they're in that honeymoon phase. They're like, oh, this is the best Spider-Man movie. How could you hate it? Like, no, it sucks.
It's not the
I'm
best
sorry.
Spider-Man movie
Not a
at
fan.
all.
No, like if you could say, like if you enjoy it, I'm happy for you. And that's the entire intro of the video that I did for that review is like, that's the whole mindset I've had. Like if you enjoy the film, if you
Right.
like MCU Spider-Man, I am happy for you. I'm not trying to take away your excitement, your hype, your interest, your passion for Tom Holland's performance in the movie and the writing. If you love it, it's your favorite, I'm happy for you. Congrats. Me, I think it was trash. Literally
Yeah.
my least favorite Spider-Man movie of all time, and completely disinterested me into what the future holds for Spider-Man the MCU. And now we get this
Yeah.
multiverse fan service fan fiction thing,
I got
which
that
I'm
enough.
not looking forward to in the slightest. So, sorry, not sorry. Don't dislike the video. Oh, I already see one dislike. Oh boy.
That's fine.
I messed up.
I got a dislike because I must have said something, or maybe it's the way I look or something. I don't know what it is. You know, I never like real quick side tangent, right? It's not really a problem, but it's a side tangent, right? I never understood the concept of like I've seen thousands of good videos on YouTube where they barely have dislikes. If the
Right.
videos are so good and they have them like 98, 99% likes, what is it about the people disliking the videos that they don't like? What's in there? Is it something
Right.
is it something they said? Is it the way they look? Like, why do they dislike the video if it's the majority rules it as it being a very good video? I just never understood that. Like, I see dislikes on some of my videos that I have, and I'm like, is it the sound of my voice? Did I say something? Do you disagree? You know, am I stupid? I'm like, what did I do? But whatever, it's fine. I mean, it's good for engagement.
Right.
It's good for engagement, with the audience, so it's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Whether you like or dislike
Right.
or leave a comment that's mean or nice, it's still engagement nonetheless, which helps us YouTubers in the long run, which most people don't know. But
it's feedback.
No matter what.
It's feedback. Yeah.
You know, it's like what they say, like what a bad press is still good press.
Yeah, it is.
It's press, you know. So it's like that. So for me, I think it's because the people who disagree extremely with a statement that the person made in a video. Like I know, for example, that YouTube video essayists, like High Top, for example, or like Brown Table out there, you know, like they make video essays all the time, saying things that are, you know, debatable in certain things. Like for the most part, they're really well put together. But like, oh, I don't like how he said that opinion about the thing that I like. You know, oh, I love MCU Spider-Man, but he doesn't dislike. Like that's not, you know, that's the reason why they dislike it, because they don't share the same viewpoint as the person watching. Whereas when I dislike a video, when I watch it on YouTube, it's because it's either clickbait, it's false advertisement, or it's just poorly put together in terms of editing.
I only dislike...
Tell, like, if they just put a video together and just slapped in some footage and just rambled in a video with no, you know, concrete, like, you know, distinction about what the topic is, you know, they kind of get off track or whatever. It's like, okay, this is, you know, they try and extend the length for watch time. You know, they try and enhance that.
I've seen some bad videos out there where like they just ramble on, and you can tell that it's not scripted or not organized, or at least they don't have bullet points to get on topic. I do the very best I can to make it so that like my videos don't sound like I'm just rambling on. I try to stay on topic in my videos. So for those of you who dislike, I apologize for you guys disliking it, but it's
You're doing a great job.
It's good feedback, but thank you.
And I say all that, the reason, if you know why, the reason why I say all those points onto why I dislike videos is because guess what? Yeah. That's exactly how my videos were when I started out.
Really?
That's exactly how all my videos. Yes. Are you
kidding me? I had no idea.
One of my videos.
I have to go back to your early ones then.
All I did literally was this. I just put my phone up in front of a screen, recorded my TV, and just rambled on and on about nonsense for however long I did it for, and that's exactly.
I actually remember. I remember that now,
2016
Evan.
from 2017. So
no.
When I watch those videos back, I'm like, ew. No, like the video that got me on the map, funny enough, with YouTube was the breaking down why the web swinging from the E3 2017 demo.
Yeah.
For Spider-Man PS4 is
I remember.
better than Spider-Man 2.
I remember.
And it was like what 22 plus minutes long. It was just rambling, me and a microphone. Just I turned the mic on. I literally just rambled for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I just literally had no train of thought in that whole video. So whenever I watch it back and I see it has like nearly, I think, 10,000 likes, I'm like, what? Why would you like this garbage? It's so bad. I'm like, I cringe whenever I see it. Like, no. But now I see like, oh, now I know how, like what you said, bullet points help. That's what we were talking about before the stream. Like, yeah, we kind of lay out what to say, how to say it, and what topic to mainly discuss, and keep it on the topic of the video. So it's funny how far we've grown, and you're doing an excellent job, and I just hope I can keep getting better. So it's just practice makes perfect. That's any advice I can give out to any of you out there who are looking forward to hopefully doing what Ronnie and I do with content creation.
I actually happen to speak.
More YouTubers.
I spoke to a fan last night, actually.
That's awesome.
I spoke to a fan last night who was like watching my stuff. And I'm like, I have fans? So I was like, I only have like 3,000 subscribers. I'm like, how can I have fans? But I'm like, you know what? 3,000 is a lot of people. So,
it's only gonna get bigger and better.
Yeah. I'm sorry, dude. I have a sick mind. That's what she said. I'm so sorry, dude. I'm sorry I had to. I'm sorry, man. Bro. Anyways, I remember actually, speaking of which, since you mentioned that, I remember watching your earlier content, and I'm like, well, at least the guy is making stuff and he has stuff to say. So I did watch a lot of your stuff, and then as you progressed, you kind of developed like this sing-song way of talking in your videos, and I'm like, oh, so it's a very organized way of doing it. Like, no, he's got a good thing going. At least it's scripted. He has talking points. And it's very organized, and he has good B-roll footage. And I'm like, I gotta do that too, because in my earlier videos, it was just me with a camera like stuck in front of me, and like, who wants to watch a guy just sit there for 10 to 20 minutes rambling on when you can watch some entertaining like B-roll footage? I'm like, no, I gotta do that, so I need to do a different approach. So now my videos barely show me in the videos unless I'm doing a review about something, and that's it. And that's all I need to do. It saves the lifetime expectancy of my camera that I love, and it's and like and I don't have to watch my ugly self on my videos. So Franco, News to Science, tell Evan that I'll write that down for reasons. Okay, write what down for reasons?
I know I'm scared. Franco, probably something probably embarrassing, but
Right.
I'll keep that in mind for sure.
So Young Special has been saying this message for quite a while, and he's been trying to get my attention because he's adding me all the time. He says, I don't think Brian Intihar will go in the direction having the option to go back to the red and blues because the sequel, I bet, will focus on the black suit and its story alone. I don't know about that, buddy. I don't know. I think we will have the option to interchange, but it's not going to go full-blown Web of Shadows. I don't think so.
No way.
It's its
Is
own
anyone
game.
thinking that right now? Like we're gonna get wall combat.
Throw that
sequel?
out of the way. I want wall combat.
Yeah.
It sucks that we don't have it in this game. It's a better game.
Is how can you do it? Is either two options: A, symbiotes on walls, which I don't think they'll do that because we literally.
I don't know. Like maybe add
or
some
B,
punches or web attacks.
But you can't fight on a wall unless you have villains that can stick to walls.
So Venom will be able to stick to a wall.
Kingpin thing. Well, we did that with Doc Ock actually in the first game.
Yeah,
so
but that was a quick time event. That doesn't really count.
Yeah, I guess another option is like what the Kingpin villains did.
Yeah.
Where they had like sticky, magnetizing boots.
Yeah.
On the wall, and you fought human enemies on walls. So they could do that too. But I don't. They're going a really realistic route, with their enemies. So I don't think we're gonna get something like that unless they go above and beyond. But for right now, I'm keeping my expectations minimum.
I remember Puddle
or
Gate.
a regular level, and not right now. But yeah, like wall combat, I'd love to see it, but right now I don't think we're getting it.
All right,
Although
so
Brooklyn and the Bronx and Queens, I do want. That is a necessity for me.
Evan, Crystal's asking if you remember Puddle Gate. I remember Puddle Gate too. I remember that was the funniest thing.
I'm still an active member of Facegate. You guys know me, so
Puddle Gate and also Downgrade Gate, where like the initial the initial demo looked better than the actual final trailer, where like Spider-Man looked differently. But also Spider-Man's look, because he appeared very rubbery and glossy.
The textures
and the texture.
The suit,
and Insomniac's like, it's not a downgrade. And Evan, you're like, it's not a downgrade.
Well, I only reported on what the community manager said, James Stevenson.
It's not a downgrade.
It's a lighting thing.
It's a lighting thing.
It's a lighting element.
I don't know, but that demo looked insane.
Time of day, I'm like,
it's not.
Sure? But
that's not what it is.
Because like, oh well, the dryness of the floor is affected by the time of day. Okay, but that's what he said. So
that demo looked insane. I'm like, this is a sexy looking Spider-Man game, so I can't wait to play it. And I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, the texture looks different on the suit than what we got.
If you go back now, I think if Ronnie probably can confirm this or not, is the remaster looks similar to that demo.
Exactly, and the PS5 handles it so well. It does actually.
Right.
I have screenshots.
Puddles in that scene?
Yes, they are.
In the remaster?
Yes, there are. I'm like puddles. Yeah. That's what I live for. That's the game. This is why I play this game. It's the thrill of the puddles.
We bought a $500 console, more puddles, and a deep pick of song.
Thank you for subscribing, Alexander Hamilton. I love it. Thank you for subscribing, buddy. All right, so let's go into Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, sorry. So if anyone who's joining, welcome. We just had a huge discussion about. Oh God, I already see 4 dislikes. That's my fault. We already had a huge discussion about Marvel Spider-Man 2.
I'm about to get some more dislikes.
And Marvel's Avengers, even in the PS5. So now we're moving on to everyone's favorite, John Watts directed Spider-Man Story of No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yippee.
All right, so
you should go first. Or at least what topic would you want to analyze first? Because we have got a lot of news recently with the toys, the news of the villains.
John Watts needs to pack his things and go home. John Watts.
Spider-Man go home.
Spider-Man John Watts goes home. But anyways, the movie's already done filming. It's post-production right now. It's wrapping up.
Is it now?
Yeah,
I thought
it finished like months ago.
They're doing reshoots or something.
It finished months ago. The filming, the initial principal photography.
Okay.
So yeah. Let's see. Yee says, nah, E3 looks better. What do you expect of Dolby 2? Nah, we're already done with Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man. Let's see. I'm interested to hear more Ethan crap on No Way Home. Ethan crap?
Huh.
What's Ethan Crab?
Don't know who this Ethan is, but he sounds like a very interesting guy.
Why
that I'd
Tom
like to
Holland?
talk
And
to.
why did directors change the Spider from black to gold? Well,
Money.
according to because money. According to
Money.
from what I know, Spider-Man will have like 3 suits in the movie.
Yes.
A black suit with gold, and like a suit that looks like Iron Spider, but like with more gold. But it's not.
Really briefly,
It's
anyone
weird.
who says that suit looks anything like the anti-Ox suit is on crack. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Literally
I just want a whole bunch of crack.
because they're like, oh, it's black and gold. Like, dude, okay, the anti-Ox suit has no webs,
Yeah.
massive logos, Raimi aesthetic eyes that glow. The new suit literally just looks like the Uptown Pride suit from Miles Morales, but for Peter.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, that reaffirms then that Tom Holland's MCU Spider-Man is literally just whitewashed Miles Morales.
I think
Think about it.
I think Tom Holland's Spider-Man No Way Home is also a big advertisement for toys. We're already getting the toys in like shelves of like a lot of stores, including Target.
Before we've seen the trailer.
Yeah,
The toys are out before the trailer has even gotten a glimpse of anything.
I hope Sony
So,
doesn't reveal too much of it from the trailer. I am still pretty excited to see it. However, Sony's banking on the fact that this is going to be like a Spider-Verse movie. And also, something tells me that the events of Loki, with like how the Sacred Timeline branched out into
Right.
branches and the branches branched out into other branches, I feel like the events of Loki will cause some sort of memory mix-up of like all the citizens of New York to forget who Peter Parker is, like who Spider-Man is. And I think, I don't know, I think that's going to take away from the fact that we may not even get Daredevil Matt Murdock defending Peter in court. We may not get to see Peter Parker trying to dodge everybody because they know who he is. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what this movie is, honestly. It's crazy.
fan fiction. It's literally fan fiction.
So
So you're telling me that you have to mandatorily watch a whole season of Loki to then understand what's going to happen in the Spider-Man movies? Or at least this Spider-Man movie?
It's just a theory. I don't know.
And,
Evan, it's your turn, by the way. You go ahead and
you see,
say your
because
piece.
the multiverse is at the end. So I've seen all the MCU shows at this point. I've seen WandaVision. Before I didn't have Disney Plus, my mom, she was actually interested in watching Loki herself because she loves Tom Hiddleston. So she's like, how do I access that show? Like, oh, you got to get this Disney Plus service. So we have it now, which is cool.
Right.
So I have caught up on WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and Loki. I would rank them. Falcon Winter Soldier is the best. WandaVision was pretty good. I really didn't like Loki. I'm gonna be honest.
What?
I
I like
yeah.
Loki. Loki's my favorite out of all 3.
don't think so, in my
it's,
opinion.
It's Loki, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then WandaVision.
I think it's because I like the more realistic stuff.
Yeah.
So Falcon was probably the most realistic out of all that.
Loki was
WandaVision
fun.
pretty grounded with the coping of Wanda's grief and mourning of Vision.
Yeah.
And the sitcom aesthetic was kind of funny.
Loki
Loki
was just
was
fun.
just-
It was really fun.
I thought it was all over the place. I didn't
Really?
think really that it didn't, because this is the Loki from the first Avengers film,
Yeah.
right? So he's the Loki who is still in that dark place, and they really rushed it, trying to get him back to that sympathetic, really down to earth Loki that we got in Ragnarok. And
I do.
the
Yeah, I
beginning
feel
of
that
Infinity
way.
War.
Now that you mention it, yeah, that is true.
And because they did that flash forward, like, look at your whole life, watching it play out. Would you then instantly transition from like that kind of resentful?
You gotta let time sink in a little bit after what you just witnessed.
Let that sink in for a while. Like, you know what, Mobius? I'll help you out. It's okay. Owen Wilson's top tier though, but I don't know. Hot take. This is why I don't talk about MCU content on my channel, because I would get so dislike bombed. But that leads up to 2 things. One, the entire What If series is a result of Loki, because the multiverse, like, oh, Killmonger and Iron Man. Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers is Captain Carter and Iron Soldier, whatever.
Getting tired of Marvel killing villains.
Yeah, Kang looks... So he was all right. I think his performance of Jonathan Majors as Kang was fine.
That's Immortus.
Kind of a little over-excessive, but he's going to turn into Kang with his variants or whatever.
Yeah, other
and then
versions
season
of
2
him
will
exist.
expand that further or something. I'm not sure. Because he's confirmed to play Kang in Ant-Man Quantumania.
Yeah,
the Wasp.
he's Kang, the Conqueror.
So,
real quick, so let's get back to the subject of No Way Home. I want to hear your thoughts.
sorry,
about
yeah.
what,
So
I want to hear your
bring all
thoughts.
that up
I
is
want to hear your thoughts
because
about
of
that.
the multiverse going into this with Spider-Man. So, if you do not own Disney Plus, or if you do not watch these MCU shows,
Not a sponsorship
you are not
for
going
Disney
to know
Plus.
a single effing thing about what's going on in No Way Home. Or if you've never seen the previous Spider-Man movie. So you're telling me I'm going to have to watch 3 Tobey movies, 2 Andrew movies, all the MCU films, and a whole miniseries of Loki just to grasp what's happening with No Way Home. Instead of it being what the story was in the first place, which was what? Kind of like a Spider-Man One More Day thing, to be honest, where his identity is out there.
Yeah,
His
this is
whole
just a
secret
different
identity
version
has
of
been
that.
revealed to the public. Mysterio ousted him. He says, F you, Pete. I'm going to expose you. Among Us style. You're the imposter. I'm going to eject you out. Boom. Here you go. Everyone knows your secret. You're sus. Boom. Peter's Spider-Man. That's how it was, right? So it makes sense then if you get Doctor Strange in a way, kind of like what they did again in those comics where, oh, he's going to try and help rewrite the timeline and rewrite the universe to kind of forget. Everyone forgets who Peter is. I guess that's why he either seeks out Doctor Strange's help or Doctor Strange seeks him out for some reason. But
yeah, it might be a one more day scenario.
Did anything, Ronnie, anything in Homecoming or Far From Home tease to you in any way that Tobey and Andrew are going to return as Spider-Man respectively, alongside of Alfred Molina as the same Doc Ock who drowned in Spider-Man 2, and Jamie Foxx's Electro, who may or may not be the same one from the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and possibly Norman Osborn, Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin from the first Sam Raimi movie, alive, coming into this as the potential main villain. Did any of those, Ronnie, any of those films tease to you that this is where the story was going?
No, nothing like that. And I gotta quote Will Ferrell's character, like, boy, that escalated quickly. Nothing about that was leading into something like this at all. And it's starting to sound like a farce, like, honestly, because all this crazy rumors that we're hearing, it's getting out of hand. And I'm like, what is this movie anymore? But then again, I can't deny some of the confirmation that we got, like Alfred Molina's Doc Ock role, him reprising it, like Jamie Foxx's, reprising his role as Electro, like the toys that we've been getting. It's leading towards more to truth, but at the same time, you just can't help but think that this is really crazy, And none of these movies coincide with one another. Homecoming doesn't pitch you what's the future of Spider-Man in Spider-Man Far From Home. Far From Home doesn't pitch you what the future holds for Spider-Man in No Way Home. They don't feel like personable stories, like I mentioned before. Everything feels like a successor taking over, it's his predecessor, and it feels like he's living in the shadow of another person rather than him being his own character. That's what it feels like to me. So I look at it now retrospectively. Yeah, they're fun movies to watch, but that's just it. They're just fun movies. I didn't have that personable connection like I had with Peter Parker in, let's say, the first 3 Raimi Spider-Man films. Even the Amazing Spider-Man did that pretty decently, even though they're not the best movies, but they did it better than Homecoming and Far From Home.
And that's because they kept it grounded. And the reason why, and to the flip side, what devil's advocate over here, little devil, my soldier, little angel, is it's cool that they're doing this because, granted, we've never seen a live-action Spider-Verse before. We've never seen Spider-Man team up with Doctor Strange on the big screen before. We've never seen Spider-Man team up with the Avengers in those other films before.
It was cool to see that. I get it, too,
It's cool. But is that the type of, for a team-up movie, like the Avengers films?
Yeah.
I understand it. That is acceptable, even in Spider-Man Homecoming, with the slight involvement of Iron Man kind of helping from behind the scenes. It got old really fast, but at the same time, I get it, because we've never seen something like that happen for a live-action Spider-Man movie before. And could it be cool to see Tobey and Andrew and Tom fight a big threat in this movie with Doctor Strange's help and maybe Daredevil? Yeah. I guess. Yeah. But is that the type of Spider-Man story? Keyword here being Spider-Man-centric, Peter Parker-centric, character-driven, personable, soul-searching, deep-rooted, character-driven, angsty teenager, really down on his luck, Peter Parker-focused narrative that we as fans connect to? Is a multiversal war?
Yeah.
No. The answer is no.
I want Spider-Man's solo stories to be like Spider-Man handling his own problems, not anything that connects to anything else. I don't want it to.
Which is why it would have been great if this was the 4th movie.
Right.
If Spider-Man No Way Home was just a solo adventure with Peter trying to find the repercussions of him having his identity, the biggest thing, by the way, of his entire character that differentiates him from being another Iron Man or whoever is like, oh yeah, I'm Iron Man, Tony Stark style,
Right.
At the end of Iron Man 1. Oh no, I do not want my identity out there. Peter Parker hates it. In the comics, he literally despises it anytime someone figures out who he is because he hates being ousted as Spider-Man. He doesn't want that secret to be out there.
What I couldn't stand is that like how easily Peter Parker would take off or reveal his face in Avengers Endgame. I'm like, that's not a very Peter Parker thing to do.
I was thinking of Far From Home.
You know, I'm talking, well, in general, Endgame, Far From Home, whatever. He removes it carelessly, even though Nick Fury tells him it's cool. I'm like, no, Peter Parker wouldn't do that. You know, and Andre Seymour, thank you for another dono for $3.99. Spider Island would be cool, but it's not coming. You know what? I read that comment from earlier. There's the screen. Hold on a second, guys. 1 second. Anyways, so I read that comment earlier about Spider Island. It is an interesting concept, but I think Spider Island might be a DLC for like the sequel or future sequels. But that's another conversation for another time. I don't want to get deep into that. Real quick,
Hope not.
Quick break for a second here. For those of you in the chat, like 52 of you that are watching right now, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I appreciate it. I think I lost some subscribers because of some of the shit that we said about the MCU Spider-Man.
That's my fault.
Sorry. I might have lost like some. I'm just saying. But that was pretty funny. But anyways, subscribe if you haven't done so already, guys. I upload content on a daily, do live streams like this, you know, at least twice a week, Tuesdays and Sundays from 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Sometimes I may even go longer if I feel like it. But anyways, getting back to the topic, let's see. Franco Greco says, I hate that the writers are the same ones who did both Ant-Man films, so we get jokes every 2 seconds, and it gets annoying and dreadful to listen to. Yeah, they got to stop relying on the comedy too much. I get that Marvel can be funny, but do it like during, I guess, appropriate times or whatever. I don't know.
Peter Tingle can just go die.
Please,
sorry.
Somebody, why hasn't any Spider-Man in on screen ever said my spider sense is tingling? Why? It's so stupid.
I have no idea.
Young Special, that ain't happening in the sequel. Just no, dude. Yep. No, hell no. Savage Birdhouse says, do you think Ben Reilly will make a cameo in and No Way Home, aka the Scarlet Spider? If it's like if it leads into Clone Sagas, nah, that's overwhelming like the movie already with a bunch of bullshit that we don't need right now. I actually am not a fan of the Clone Sagas. Young Special also asked me, guys, Evan, Astonished, which would you choose? Matt Reeves, the Batman, or Spider-Man No Way Home? Please choose one. Evan, I think I know the answer.
I think you do.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
I don't know if I know your answer. Is that really what you think?
No. I was saying that you chose Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm just messing with you. Batman, the Reeves Batman. Matt Reeves Batman.
I think we can both agree on that, yes.
Yeah, I choose
100
him.
times, yes.
I choose that one.
That trailer looked incredible.
Yeah, it looks
Robert
pretty
Pattinson looks like a completely different person in that role. He's going to kill it.
Vengeance.
I can't wait for that movie.
Vengeance.
That's the thing. Wouldn't that be sick if you got a character-driven, really personal-oriented, thematically, you know, inner struggling journey adventure with the character of Spider-Man?
Yeah,
just like what Joker did, just like with what the Batman's doing.
Why is Bill...
But for Peter Parker...
Why is
That's
Ben?
What people want.
Why is Uncle Ben completely forgotten? I hate that. Like I didn't want to.
How Joker made $1 billion, and why was that? Was it because of the character?
It was a character-driven story.
Maybe the character of Joker has a lot of popularity because he's one of the most popular comic characters in pop culture history.
Yeah,
sure, but why did people watch the movie? Oh yeah, because of Joaquin Phoenix and his amazing performance as this really struggling, relatable character.
Exactly.
And the really intense journey that he goes through in that story. And it made $1 billion. It's the first R-rated movie of all time to make $1 billion. Do you know how much people are craving a story like that? And they could do it in PG-13, make it grounded and relatable for a character like Peter Parker. This is why, you know, you can like the MCU films all you want. Again, I'm not trying to take that away from you.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you say like what Ronnie just, you know, has told us previously, he went on a MCU marathon watching those films. But if you watch back-to-back, say, for example, Spider-Man 2, Raimi Spider-Man 2, and then Spider-Man Far From Home, the second MCU Spider-Man film, which one do you think is objectively better? Like, which one do you think represents the character of Spider-Man more accurately, more realistically, more maturely, and just more personally?
Well, Raimi's films obviously do that better.
Peter Parker special. But that's not even needed to... highlight for the director, because I think Watts has done fine stuff with Cop Car and Clown to an extent.
I never heard of those movies.
Those are his previous two. That's literally what he did before Homecoming, which is, I don't know
Why
where
do they
got
hire?
him, but
Why do they hire the most random people to do movies for the MCU?
I have no idea. And he's doing
Cop
Fantastic Four, dude. Oh my god, I forgot he was doing Fantastic Four as well, dude. But the reason why, regardless of Sam Raimi's directing or John Watts' directing, it's the narrative, it's the writing, it's the storytelling that enhances your immersion into the world of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. That is why the comics have done so well in the past with creating a world which Peter Parker lives in that is exponentially more grand than he can ever be, because he's just a guy.
Right.
He's just a regular average Joe guy. And the movies have not done enough to portray that when he's fighting a million army of drones against Mysterio. He's not doing that when he's fighting aliens with his Iron Spider suit.
It's joke after joke here, man. Like, it's joke after joke.
He's in the realm of the Avengers. He's in a larger-than-life world, which is understandable and really cool to see on the big screen. But at the same time, you have to balance that with personal relatability and connections that make you as the audience invested into not just the swinging, not just the fighting and the wall crawling, the characters. I do not give a crap about Ned Leeds, MJ, Betty Brant, Flash, or any of the other supporting cast members of the MCU movies in Spider-Man's world. If Ned dies, what the leaks are saying, if Ned dies in No Way Home, I will give 0 Fs. I will not blink an eye. Oh, Ned's gone. Oh my God, MJ, Michelle, whoever this person is, which we still don't know, by the way.
She said Michelle Jones. Dies, that's what she is.
Goodbye. Like, I do not. It's not. They haven't connected me to these characters enough to make me form a bond with them and get me invested into who they are.
I was hoping when I saw when I saw Captain America: Civil War, and Spider-Man was in it, I'm like, okay, so a lot of the classic comic book characters coming, like Mary Jane, Harry Osborn, and then when I saw, I'm like, who are these friends, man? Like, why? Like, Ned Leeds doesn't look like Ned Leeds. He looks like Genki. Michelle Jones, who cares about that character? And I'm like, at least put him with Betty Brant or whatever.
Even then, it's like they haven't done enough to, like, make me care about their personal livelihoods and their struggles and whatever, because we don't know anything about them. We just know that they're there and they're Peter's classmates. Whereas even the Raimi movies took time to interest you in Betty Brant, Elizabeth Olsen. What's her name? Oh my God, Elizabeth Banks. Elizabeth Banks as Betty Brant in the Raimi films. Even then, you get those really small moments with her and Peter kind of connecting.
She was great, man.
You care more about her than anything we've seen about Betty Brant or Ned Leeds or Michelle Jones or whoever she is. Who was the
love interest in the supposed love interest in Homecoming again?
Liz Allen.
Oh, right. I forgot.
Even then, a massive character like Liz Allen, who was pretty much the MCU equivalent of the spectacular version of her from that cartoon. They tried to make her like that, and it failed miserably.
I forgot. You see how I forgot, though?
They just pulled a Deus Ex... Exactly, because she's not memorable. And they just pulled a Deus Ex Machina out of nowhere. Like, oh, Vulture, Adrian Toomes, the villain that literally has nothing to do with Liz Allen, let's make her dad. Because why not? Because shock factor. There's no reason behind that, because there's nothing to get you invested in her character or the family, because then you're just kind of in a weird trance, like, whoa, hold on. Adrian Toomes is Liz Allen's dad?
Why do they have different last names?
So then why? But even that, regardless of the last name, it's just about what about the character has connected to any way, shape, or form about the family members of the Allen family, of her or her mom. And learning more about Adrian Toomes would have been great. Learning more about his family and his relatability with his personal matters, besides the fact that he just got ousted by Stark and the damage control team in Homecoming, and I gotta do this for my family. It's like Vin Diesel. It's for my family. We gotta fight for family, like that. So
what I don't get is
they didn't do enough. Like, look at, again, I hate to do this comparison, but look at what they did with Alfred Molina in Spider-Man 2. Why do people like that movie so much? Well, you get to learn about Dr. Octopus, but not just Dr. Octopus as the villain. You get to learn about Otto Octavius, the genius scientist, the fusion engineer expert, creating a a source of energy that can save people's lives. And he's a family man because he has Rosie.
And he's a good
He cares
guy,
about
you
him.
know. You
He's
care
a
about him.
very kind-hearted person. He cares about science and the good of mankind and what knowledge can mean for society's progress, and wanting to share that passion with people.
Yeah.
And then the tragedy of him losing Rosie and him turning into this monster and having him go in this dark path. But then he redeems himself, and he learns this valuable lesson from Peter himself that he learned from himself, that he learned from Otto. It's a whole roundabout way to go back to the meaning, the heart of the matter of learning what is valued most amongst family and Peter as a person, and what he values most as an individual. That's Mary Jane. That's his best friend Harry. That's even Otto as an inspirational, not father figure, but just as an idealist, as a scientist, as a knowledgeable man. He respects him and he appreciates his value.
Yeah.
And that makes his tragedy all the more sad when he drowns. But no, Ronnie, let's bring him back. Let's make him a villain again.
Yeah, it kind of takes away from like the sacrifice. I'm like, Rosie, I love this boy.
It undermines everything.
It undermines everything. It does, yeah.
It crucializes not only the extent of how far they can take this multiverse stuff.
They could have left him dead, man.
The previous films, if they wanted to bring him back as the MCU Doc Ock, right? And he's Doc Ock in this universe
as a different person,
played by. Yeah. Exactly, he's a different guy completely.
Different Doc Ock, yeah.
Totally different person, but he's still played by Alfred. Fine, whatever. I would prefer a different actor because make things new and fresh. Fine. No, it's the same one who learned this lesson, who had this arc.
And it was all for nothing.
It starts, it catalysts, and then finishes.
Yeah.
That's an arc. It's over. It's done. No, let's bring him back because fan service, and it's pathetic. And I despise stuff like that in movies. That's what they did with some of the previous Star Wars films, and there's a way to do fan service in a way that respects for the past and embraces the future, like The Mandalorian, which I've also seen on Disney Plus recently.
I actually didn't finish it. I'm not a Star Wars fan.
It's really good. They do a lot of stuff to connect with some of the previous films, the prequels, and respecting the lore of the universe, but allowing things to breathe and expand independently without relying solely on the past, right? That's the exact opposite what they're doing here, where they're literally relying directly on the past, because let's bring in Alfred Molina as a villain. Let's bring in Toby as Spider-Man. Let's bring in Andrew as Spider-Man and just have them team up because that's what people like. Yeah. No, we like personable, relatable characters. Yeah. With struggles that make impactful decision-making and choices that crucialize the extent of how far their characters can evolve, what they can learn at the end of the day from the lessons they experience, and just showcasing to people that there's different things that can be done in a format that has so much potential for storytelling with this wider Marvel universe.
Right,
we don't have to rely directly on the Evan,
stuff. You're getting really passionate there, Evan.
I'm sorry, I'm literally giving a TED talk right now. I know because movie is going to literally send me astray.
You're turning red right now. And
I am literally.
You're turning red. Dude. You're turning red right now, and you're trying to give us like the quintessential Spider-Man movie, which I understand, and like we need to get like those relatable moments back. We need to get relatable characters back. We need to get characters that we care about. We need that back in like the Spider-Man saga in the MCU. Yes. And you're just like, you're like this the entire time. You're like, no.
Like, dude, literally like a checklist, like pros and like 2 pros and like 1,000 cons. Dude.
Oh my
God. I can't stand this movie. Like, if you think I'm bad now, you guys in the chat, don't dislike Ronnie's stream, dislike my stuff. If you think I'm bad now, just wait till the trailer comes out. Oh boy.
I probably lost some subscribers already.
I'm so close to 70,000 on my channel. I'm gonna lose that in 2 seconds.
Oh man! By the time I post the MCU video. But when you said it, it's like I feel like you've already prepared this like in your head all day.
No, the thing is, that's the thing. This is literally just off the cuff. I swear to God.
Yeah, but the way your emotions tell you everything. You're like,
this
just
is the
do
thing,
it.
though. Like I literally like I gotta get a gabagool, bro. I gotta get a good Spider-Man movie.
By the way, I'm actually just sitting here twirling like the charger of my headphones as I'm listening to you talk, and I'm just like,
sorry, I told you.
I'm just like this. I'm looking at you like this.
I warned you. I warned you what to expect ahead of time.
I was like this the entire time. I'm like, wow. I'm like, this guy. And I was trying to say something. I'm like, this guy's got some shit to say.
I'm sorry.
Like it was awesome.
I'm losing my voice.
That was incredible. He's going to turn into the Incredible Evan. Franco. I love when Evan gets too passionate that his face goes red. It's awesome. Tabari Butler said that. That's like, hilarious. I was speechless the entire time. And Elia Diana is like,
I'm coming from, right? Like,
yeah.
I hope I made my point because
I know. I think you did. Did anyone lose a roll of $20 bill because we found the rubber band? You know, when I was a kid, I didn't get that joke and I didn't laugh.
I don't think So Spider-Man 2 came out in 2004. I was 6.
I was.
So I don't think I even caught it.
I was turning 14 when that movie came out.
Wow.
So I didn't get the joke. Because
I'm a baby then.
And I didn't laugh, and I'm like, that's not funny. It's a terrible joke. And then Octavius like, terrible joke. I'm like, you said it. At least you acknowledge it. So I'm like, okay, this is good. And yeah, I'm turning 31 next month actually.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you, Mayan. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Noir Hacks 2099 says. He's speechless. Now, when Evan turns red, you'll become Carnage. What?
I got the symbiote in me. I'm actually confirmed to be in Venom versus Carnage.
You know how you know the meme about Nintendo where like I forgot the name of the guy. There's an image of him. It's like, no, this is not how you're supposed to play it in Super Smash Brothers.
Is it Sakurai himself? Like
yeah, he's like, no, this is not how you play the game. So Evan's like, no, like this should make a meme of you saying,
John Watts.
And like, no, this is not how a Spider-Man story should be. Like, yes. It should have a picture of you just saying that. No, like,
no,
John
meme
Watts.
material in the camera. What? It's like what Uncle Sam, like, I need you. So it's like, I need you to stop. John Watts.
So everybody snap that. If you can pause the live stream, you can snap it and then like text and like send it in my Discord.
Meme material, if I can get photogenic enough. Let's see. I need you. Let's see. Wait, finger up more. I need you.
Yeah.
John Watts.
Do you think
making Spider-Man movies?
Yeah.
Or at least don't let Sony interfere.
I think this will be his last one.
Thing.
He'll be done with Spider-Man. He's done with Spider-Man since after No Way Home.
I've gone on record saying. Yeah. They're like, oh, Evan, what would you do then if you could make a Spider-Man? Like, first off, I wouldn't make a Spider-Man movie. I'd make a game. But if I had to make a Spider-Man film, or at least make an ideal version of what I would like to see in a Spider-Man film, I would choose the director Alex Garland. Do you know that guy?
No, I'm not familiar with Alex Garland.
Annihilation.
I didn't see that
Natalie
movie.
Portman. And
oh, wait, I did. I saw some clips of that movie. It's kind of creepy. Annihilation.
What about a Deus Ex Machina?
No, I'm familiar with it.
Sorry, just Ex Machina. I mean, with Oscar Isaac and the girl who played Lara Croft.
Didn't see it.
So he is a visionary in my eyes. I'm more of a gamer. If you guys know me, I'm more invested in the games than the films.
Yeah.
But when I do see films, I do see them with intent about really impactful stories that really dive deep into characters. Because that's why I appreciate the most when it comes to filmmaking.
Right.
And that's why I think Alex Garland, who's super trippy dude, like with his sci-fi elements with stuff, I think could knock a Spider-Man story in particular out of the park. Like, his directing style is super intimate with the characters. And not in like a sexual way, but in a way that actually connects you more to what is going in their mind. Like, what are they thinking about? What are they really trying to dive into the heart of the matter? And I think for a character like Spider-Man, for Peter Parker, like, what does he want?
Right.
Really, that's the whole plot. Why Spider-Man 2 is so good? What does he want? Does he want to be Peter? Does he want to be Spider-Man? Can he be both? Does he want Mary Jane? Does he want to be happy with his school life? You know, what does he really want to achieve? And I think that is a director who I think can really get stuff done in a way that delivers an impactful message.
You know what I was actually thinking on the topic of directors? I'm a huge fan of Edgar Wright, and I would love to see an Edgar Wright Spider-Man movie.
That would be trippy.
That would be insane. The camera work.
He was supposed to do Ant-Man 1, right?
The camera work in that movie would be hilarious and also fun, like, and amazing, obviously.
Yeah.
Because he's really good with physical, like, camera work and comedy. But I think he'd be great as a director.
It could be good. I really love Scott Pilgrim.
I love Scott Pilgrim, and I also I really want like I'm so excited for Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. Sam Raimi's directing that. Sam the Man Raimi is directing that film. No,
Nice.
I think Peter should go to college. Do you think Venom 2 will be better than No Way Home? I don't know. I don't know. Do you
What do
think
you say?
Evan?
If Venom's gonna be better?
Do you think Venom 2 will be Venom? Let There Be Carnage will be better with better than No Way Home.
I think they'll both be pretty mid,
Yeah.
equally mid. But at least I can't say anything about that because we don't have a trailer yet for No Way Home. But I would say at the very least, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. It's not the Venom movie I wanted because I literally wanted like Joker for Venom. You know, like how they did the Joker movie in that way was so good.
Right.
And I wanted that type of darkness for Venom as a character. Really, my favorite Spider-Man villain of all time
The
is Venom, and
sequel-
we didn't get that movie.
The sequel's rated R.
It is, but not like a dark horror themed rated R.
Oh.
You know?
Okay.
So, we'll see. But
I'm
right now,
sorry.
it looks like they're just doubling down on the comedy aspect of the first film, just with Carnage. We'll see how dark they take Cletus Cassidy's character, but for right now, it's like, it'll be dumb fun.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, fine enough. For what this is, I didn't want this type of movie. Same thing, I didn't want No Way Home to be a multiverse film, but it is what it is, and I'm just hoping that it'll be enjoyable enough.
You know what I want? Good animated features of classic Marvel stories, kind of like how DC does for their movies. Like for Batman
Right.
and everybody else. So
Yeah, like the DC EU, or no,
Yeah,
the DC AU, DC
yeah,
Animated Universe.
Right. They just pull stories from different Batman comics and other DC character comic books, and they make them into animated feature films. That's what I want for Marvel, where they just keep pull. It's its own thing. They pull from the classic comics and they adapt them into animated features. So I'm imagining how Todd McFarlane, because I love Todd McFarlane's art of Spider-Man. I'm imagining how like weird it would look, because Todd McFarlane's art is ugly in a beautiful way, where like Spider-Man's like has odd contortions. There's a lot of lines in people's faces, and I'm like, can you imagine that being animated? I'm like, wow. I'm thinking like that would be amazing, dude.
That's why I like Tanaz so much, because it's literally
Tanaz?
that.
Yeah.
He literally does all those crazy contortions and swinging animations in that show.
Yeah.
And if they just did that for Spider-Man in live action, which we got pretty close to with the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I will say.
I actually like the
Swinging scenes in
Amazing
that movie,
Spider-Man. I love the swinging in the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
pretty good.
Even the first one looks really cool. It's like straight out of
Yeah.
a comic book panel. I want to
the
be
positions he
an
does with his
actor.
lankiness,
Yeah, I love
the
it.
arachnidness,
Like
of
just
what
like
he does.
yeah, that kind of thing.
Really
I love
good.
that. All of 2000, everyone needs to play Persona 5 Royale. I'm not a Persona
Bro!
fan.
Yes! Finally,
I don't
my
think I have the
people have
patience to
came.
play that. Yeah, All for One 2000. Yeah, and Meki's XS11. I want
All
to be
for
an
one, you're
actor
a Chad.
when I go to college, and I want to play Miles Morales' role. Good luck. Noir Hack 2099. Hear me
I
out,
believe in it.
guys. 90s like Spidey movie with Todd McFarlane as the director. Yeah, we were just talking about that. I was talking about it because you mentioned it. Noir Hack. And
I
Franco
went on a
Greco.
TED Talk and my face got red, so you can go back and see that once.
Yeah,
the stream's up.
that's hilarious. Franco Greco, if you could have one villain from the Tanaz as the main villain for the MCU Spider-Man, who would it be and why at News to Astonish? I would love to see Kingpin as the villain for MCU Spider-Man. And even the actor that plays Kingpin would return as him.
Vincent D'Onofrio?
Vincent D'Onofrio, yeah. He would return. Young Special says, I believe the What If animated series might be the start of Marvel animated stuff to do great again, to start over. You think so? Because yeah, this would be the MCU's Marvel Studios' first animated like series, and it's going to be like 20 episodes, 22 episodes. How many episodes do you, Evan? Do you know how many episodes that's going to be? Or 10 episodes, 15 episodes?
Which show?
What If?
No, I don't. Isn't it like 6, like the miniseries?
It comes out in August, next month actually.
Huh.
I think it's gonna be like
Okay.
10 or 8 or 9 or something like that.
Right.
Not 20. I don't know why I said
Not
20.
sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, I think what I want to say is that I think No Way Home will be just, I guess, a fun movie for everybody, but it won't be for everybody as well. It's because like this movie, I don't know what it is. This movie's bigger than just Spider-Man, which I feel like kind of detracts from like the main point of a Spider-Man story. Normally Spider-Man stories are personable. Spider-Man's a very independent kind of superhero. But I think like this movie might also be all over the place because of so many characters we have to focus on, and we're expecting Doctor Strange, Doc Ock, Electro, some villains, more characters appearing on screen that can be a little annoying sometimes. But overall, I mean, I think it'll be a fun time, and I'm looking forward to it at least. Evan, I hope you're probably, I think you're gonna sit there like holding onto your armchairs, armrests, and go like, here we go.
For No Way Home.
Yeah, are you gonna go with your dad or your mom?
So I haven't been to the theaters since the pandemic happened. The last movie I remember seeing in theaters was Ford versus Ferrari.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Was that in like 2019? Really?
Yeah, and then I saw Black Widow in theaters actually for the first time. I went to the theaters to see Black Widow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sonic
I
Hedgehog.
haven't gone to the theater in a couple of years. Realistically. So that's crazy. So I'm still kind of uncomfortable right now, given the circumstances. But if I go, then yeah, I'll bring my dad and we can see it together and definitely give our thoughts in a review. And I'm just gonna probably turn off the comments off the bat for that one. So
oh shit!
I don't have to worry about what happened last time. But
you should read the comments on your own time, even though like you have them off. You can still see them in your dashboard YouTube studio.
I suppose, but even then, I'll just.
But that'll be
like,
fun.
Yeah.
You'll see the likes and dislikes. I think from the your
meme
fans
from,
know your fans know your they know your reputation as far as like how you feel about the MCU Spidey.
And it's like again, I've said there are good traits about him. I think we can all agree, unanimously that the best time we've seen Tom in the MCU was literally not even in his own movie. It was a Captain America movie, a Civil War.
Yeah, that was the best time.
His introduction was the best that we've seen him in, and I like the Avengers films, Infinity War and Endgame when he was there. That was fun. Homecoming was fine, but I despise Far From Home, and that was the one film I don't like in that whole. I literally, vividly do not like in that whole series of Spider-Man inclusions. And for whatever reason, that's the one that people focus on the most when they look at me like, you're just an MCU hater, Insomniac shill fanboy. I'm like, I really don't like the new.
There's that word again, shill.
So I don't know what you're talking about there. When I literally have gone on record, I hate Far From Home. And I'm not a fan of the new face, so I'm either a fanboy or a shill. I'm either a fanboy or a hater, but I can't be both. So make up your mind. So I don't know what people are expecting of me, but all I'll say is, like, I love Spider-Man. We all love Spider-Man. I want the movie to be good. I don't think anyone wants the movie to genuinely suck. We all are hoping it'll be a fun time and a good, well-written movie. But, 3 strikes and you're out. And I have already kind of given it as many chances as I can with John Watson, the writers for this film or these series of films, and it's just not for me. And I've said that, like, it's just personally not my cup of tea. But there's nothing wrong with that. I have my preferences. You guys have all your preferences.
Yeah.
You either like or dislike the Tobey movies. It could be your favorite or least favorite. You either like or dislike Andrew. You either like or dislike Tom. And I've gone on record saying my favorite Spider-Man isn't even a one in live action. It's the game. It's Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker in the first
that actually moved to the
Insomniac
number 1
game.
spot for me very quickly because before it was actually Spider-Man 1 is my favorite Spider-Man movie. Not 2.
Too,
I love 2, but I think 1 hits home really well with the characters.
It does for me too. I say that even though I have a Spider-Man 2 poster right behind me, but the first one's still my favorite for sure.
Yeah. It's classic.
And yeah, it's just about, again, like Ronnie said, it's preferences. It's not about a heated debate. It's not about trying to be in the right, in the wrong. It's not about fan wars. It's not about trying to prove something right or wrong or being objectively bad or good. It's just, I personally have an opinion that may or may not disagree with yours. And that's all it is at the end of the day.
Did you ever see the movie Tangled?
The Rapunzel one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember when like the guy, I think his name is Finn or whatever, he says something like all the swords start pointing at him?
Yes.
And I'm imagining going like, I really hate MCU Spider-Man, and all the swords coming, you're just like this.
Just like.
Just take it.
That was me during.
That was you during.
That's still me now because people are like, Evan doesn't have a PS5 because he doesn't like the new face. Like, that's not how
That's
works.
not. I'm like, you wouldn't get like it wouldn't hinge on the fact that because you don't like the new design, you don't get a PS5. There's so many
Yeah.
reasons why to get a PS5.
And like
I
no
think
one
you're
will
low.
change my mind otherwise. Like no one will be able to convince me that Far From Home is a good movie or that the new face is an improvement from the first face. Because
Even if
guess what?
would you
It's my
stake your
opinion.
would you stake your life on it? Like, would you really?
I would, literally, because I showed you at the beginning of the stream that there was concept art of Peter Parker from the first game, and he literally looks like an older version of John Bubniak, and that was their original vision for Peter.
I'm talking about Far From Home. Would you stake your life on it?
Even that, I just think it's garbage.
Even if they say like, listen, I'm holding a gun to your head. Like, you better not say that you don't like this movie, and then would you still say?
Yeah, Evan, don't you dare dislike No Way Home, and don't say anything tarnishing about Far From Home. My last words, well, Far From Home is literal garbage. Bang, it's over.
Oh my god, cute.
Sorry, but just Spider-Man Twitter nowadays is a cesspool, so
yeah,
I can't
it is.
say anything about that nowadays. And I don't even have Instagram or Reddit, which I'm sure there's already way worse comments on there, but I hate social media for all it is, and I try and use it only for channel purposes, but still,
it's all
about preferences. People gotta chill and just realize that different strokes for different folks. That's all it is.
Goshen's Games, by the way, is my cousin. He just joined the stream very late.
What's up?
We're just finishing, actually. He's my cousin.
Yes.
He couldn't make it. I don't know what happened. We've been streaming for like 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm kidding. I'm messing with you. Goshen, Chris, I know you're busy with everything, though, settling in and the move and stuff. I'm sure you were busy. So it's all right, man. No worries. Goshen's Games, thank you for joining. Goshen's Games is also a gaming channel. Oh, well, is a gaming channel, not also a gaming channel. Is a gaming channel. Follow him, too, if you're interested in games and stuff. He's really cool, man. He has a lot of subscribers. A lot more than I do. Noir Hacks, same. JR450, I need a 2002 Spider-Man suit in Marvel Spider-Man 2. I saw a 3D model someone made and posted on Instagram, and it looked fantastic. You know, I don't have Instagram. I deleted it.
Me neither.
I hate Instagram. It's depressing, in my opinion, honestly. I just don't like Instagram.
I never use
it's boring.
Social media.
I only have Facebook and Twitter. That's all I got. That's all I got.
And I never use Facebook. I don't use it to connect with industry people.
Yeah.
But I even have a LinkedIn page that I never use either. So, yeah, I hate social media so much, but I need to use it because if I did not have a channel, though, I would not use Twitter at all.
Yeah.
I've gone on record saying that. And I literally, you can see early my videos in 2016 with the phone, just me recording like, hey, guys, I made a Twitter page, so follow me if you want. But I never use it, so...
Well, speaking of Twitter, follow me there. The link to my Twitter is in the bio for all 43 of you that are watching right now. Follow me on Twitter, the invitation. Also, the invitation, not the invitation, the links to my Twitter, my Facebook are in the bio. You can follow me there as well. Join my Discord. The invitation link to that is in the description box below, like I say in all my videos. Got to get in TikTok. I'm in TikTok. I have TikTok, but I got bored of it so quickly. I knew it. I knew I was going to... I don't like it anymore. I have no clue
what it is, because I don't use it.
I didn't get TikTok for the longest. I never understood it for the longest time. Andre, I wish they used the first 3 Spider-Man armors in the movies. The first 3 Spider-Man armors? In what movies? Like the Raimi ones? I like the fact that it remained like singular to the classic comic books in the Raimi movies. It didn't take away from anything. It still kept right on top. Like it really focused on the story.
Like, yeah,
I feel like the costume changes in the movies for the MCU take away from everything, man. Like it's just a distraction, and it's just to sell some toys. That's what it really is, man.
Literally just merch.
JR50,
Still have no clue. Like people say, like they've gone on record saying, and I like the design. It's not my favorite suit, but I like it. People have gone on record saying that the Far From Home suit, the upgraded suit, the black and the red one, is like the best live-action Spider-Man suit of all time. But then guess what?
Yeah,
they're getting rid of it.
Yeah,
with 2 other suits.
I know TikTok has a huge community, comic book community. Noir Hag says Spider-Man PS4 stream tonight. No. This is a stream for tonight. And also I've been playing Spider-Man Remastered for PS5, not PS4. But stay tuned, JR50, because I will be streaming the game once again. What's today? Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday. Yes. Okay, I will be streaming once again this Sunday at 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it. I know that's like 5 days away, but I'm so sorry. I'm just reading off the comics as we get ready to go. Damon Andrews, Y'all two are my fave YouTubers for Spidey. Oh, he called me a YouTuber for Spidey content.
Aw,
Damon Andrews.
boom.
You know, at the beginning, the origins of my YouTube channel, for any of you guys who want to know, I went in this with the idea of starting a comic book channel, reviewing comics, doing comic hauls, which I haven't done in a while, which I'm also going to bring back because I like talking. I read
Nice.
comics, and it went an idea, but the videos that get the most views in my channel are my Spider-Man videos, especially the PS4 remastered ones. So I indirectly became a Spider-Man channel, like unofficially. Like I didn't have the
Right.
intent of doing it, but I am a Spider-Man channel. I mean, my banner, my channel art is a Spider-Man type channel. Evan, you inspired me. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I only
That's
use
fine. It looks
Instagram for
great.
those smart. Thank you so much. Imagine if Miles gets the symbiote in Spider-Man 2. That'd be interesting. But that'll take away from Peter getting it, honestly. Like I wanted to just one at a time.
Yeah,
Evan,
exactly.
when do you plan on getting a PS5? Damon Andrew asks. Well, I guess when like stock is available. I guess I don't know.
Whenever there is one to buy, that
Yeah.
is the answer. Because I've just gone on record, like, I will literally do reviews, gameplay videos, comparison videos, discussion videos, in-depth analysis videos, everything you think of for the PS5 and the remaster once I play it for myself. I can't do that because I
Yeah.
don't have a console. But when I get one, I'm literally just probably going to spam the hell out of videos for that because I haven't been able to do anything lately unless there's news about the Guardians game or, sadly, Marvel's Avengers. And I don't care about No Way Home enough to talk about it, so I'm just kind of waiting until they do more news for like what we got, with the other day with Najee Jeter, for example, teasing stuff. Like that's as close as news as we can get right now for
Right.
Marvel Spider-Man 2. But even then, it's like people aren't watching it as much, and it's like because they want something official. So I can't do that until I have a PS5. So I'm really just sitting on my hands waiting until
Yeah.
someone either gives me one or I can buy one that actually is available somewhere.
If I could make another one, if I had another PS5, I'd give you one, Evan.
No,
Um,
that's too kind of you.
quick-
Please save your money.
Quick question in the chat, people in the chat. Who is not a subscriber at all? I know I'm putting you in the spotlight, but whoever's not a subscriber, subscribe to my channel. I post videos on a daily and I do live streams twice a week. Sorry for the reminder. I just had to put the shame plug in there. Whoever's not a subscriber, please subscribe right now.
Everyone who's not a subscriber, raise your hands, and then do
Yeah,
so by
send me
subscribing
the
and liking the video.
send me the hand emoji if you're not a subscriber.
Yes.
Here's an
And then send me the
question.
middle finger emoji if you don't like my thoughts on MCU Spider-Man.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
I will
Savage.
know then who you are.
Savage Birdhouse says, from both your opinions from both Marvel and DC, Spectacular Spider-Man or Static Shock, two different characters, but there are similarities. Where they start off as like high school people, like kids, with like
Yeah.
problems. But I like Spider-Man still better. I love Static Shock, and I can't wait for the movie. I've been
Static
wanting a
Shock's
Static
really
Shock
good.
movie for a long time. Franco Greco, Evan, when you get a PS5, you must do Marvel Spider-Man Remastered Radioactive Replay. Yes, you should.
That's my boy.
Noir
He
Hacks
knows me too well.
2099. You guys should do comic reviews. Evan, do you think about ever doing comic book reviews?
I don't think I've ever once done one on my channel. I have given like my top 5 main comics, I think, but yeah, never like analyzing the new stuff because I haven't kept up with it enough, like from Nick Spencer and stuff like that. But for the most part, I would be down. Like with you specifically, I think it'd be fun. But for me, solo on my channel, probably not, because my main channel mainly cares about what I care about, which is nice, is the games, the Marvel
Right.
video games, not the shows, not the movies, not the cartoons.
Right.
Marvel video games is where it's at for me. So mainly, if you're into that, go follow me and subscribe to my channel. But yeah, I mean, if there's any major comic that really grabs my attention, then sure, I'd love to do a.
There's a
collab
comic
review with Ronnie.
I think there's a comic that really will grab your attention, and it's a What If Spider-Man story that's hot right now. It's called Spider-Man's Shadow, and it's a story about
Okay.
where Spider-Man gets the black suit, and it's what if he kept it, and he starts going like,
Ooh.
and he becomes brutal, and he's really brutal with his methods and stuff. It's insane, dude. I think you will love it, dude. You can't find that
Down
comic
my alley.
anywhere.
I love the black suit.
You can't find that comic anywhere, by the way. It's hard to find. I only have issue
Wow.
1 and 4 printed physically. I can't find 2 and 3, which I have to read online, sadly. But it's so hard to find, dude. That comic is hard to find. Spider-Man is probably my favorite Marvel character of all time. You know what? I think he's my favorite character of all of fiction of all time. He has so many stories. He's such a relatable kid. I feel like he's just real, at some points. Thoughts on the X-Men movies? I like them. I like some of them, but there's some I just don't like, and I just don't like Fox. Fox kind of ruins, like especially with the first one. Like the first one's great, but like, what did they do to the suits, man? Like they were afraid with taking chances. And that's what it was.
And then First Class is probably still my favorite.
I like First Class. It's my favorite too. Would you guys like to see the death of Spider-Man in the Insomniac universe due to the hands of the Green Goblin? No. I don't want to see that. I want to see an older
I'll say
Peter
this
Parker.
right now. Yes. Okay. 3 things that need to happen, and need to / don't need to happen. 1, in the sequel, Peter Parker is a teacher.
Right.
For sure needs to happen.
That
2,
has to
no
happen.
Spider-Verse. 3, no death of Peter Parker. We could get close to death and close to him getting, his ass beat by Venom, just like what we saw with the Rhino fight in Miles Morales, which is a bit confusing, to be honest, how he got that damage in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
But, no, he needs to get, wrecked, just like during the Doc Ock fight.
Right.
With Venom. Because he doesn't want to hurt Harry, so that's going to be a problem for him. Like, I can't fight my best friend, so therefore he'll have, a disadvantage. And I'm really looking forward to the deep, dark, layered narrative that can be inputted into that relationship with Harry and Peter. And it's great because they already set it up with the research stations.
There's an actual old comic run from the early 2000s. I think it's 2005, 2004. I don't remember, but it's a Venom comic book run. It's called Venom Dark Origin, and it's really to me it's a very
I know that one.
I have all the issues. It's only 5 issues, and to me that's a very underrated Venom origin. Even though with Donny Cates' run, which I also enjoyed, I do prefer Donny Cates' take on it, even though it does give an interesting spin to the origin of the symbiote.
With Noel and all that, and the
Centaur. With still canonizing a lot of the events from the past Marvel comics, even with Venom's first introduction, those are still canonized. It's just Eddie Brock's solo story. I like it. Right. I like it. It gives an in-depth look of the Centaur race and the origins, and the symbiote god stuff is a little weird to me.
That's where I get
that's where I'm okay, that's kind of a stretch. This is an alien race, not gods in an alien.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Mystical beings.
Yeah, I'm
planetary
don't
creature.
make it. They didn't need to. They did not need to make it all fantastical and weird. But whatever, it's fine. But it's Marvel. I mean,
Comics,
whatever.
bro.
Comics contradict one another too. Need more difficult boss battles as well. JR50. I agree to an extent. Yes. Mr. Meme. I'm afraid No Way Home might fail considering how many characters there are, just like Spider-Man 3 and TASM 2. Well, I'll tell you this, though. On the contrary, Sony and Marvel Studios are... Well, Sony mostly, actually. Not Marvel Studios. Sony's banking on this movie to actually succeed because of how popular the Spider-Man IP is and how popular the idea and the concept of the Spider-Verse is. Sony's actually banking on this movie. So, afraid not, it won't fail financially, but it may fail critically. I honestly do not know. But I think... that's going to be the end result. You can have a financially successful movie, but critically it can get bombed. What's the most Spider-Man game would you like to get remastered? Web of Shadows. Anyways, you were saying?
Yeah. I was going to say, 2 things. 1, I completely agree about Web of Shadows. I see people say sometimes we need Ultimate Spider-Man remaster, but it looks fantastic.
Leave it alone. It looks great.
Style. Just port it for current gen. Or if you want to, remaster the original 2000 Neversoft Spider-Man game for modern day.
Yeah,
that's a great game.
I've been trying to get it on PC lately, by the way, because I want to stream it here on my channel. I want to play the Neversoft Activision, the Neversoft PS1 game. I played that game on repeat when I was a kid.
It's so good.
I beat it so many times because I love that game.
It's literally one of my favorites, and it's actually Brian Intahar's personal favorite. So that's
really he likes that
one. Yeah, that's his favorite Spider-Man game. And I was saying, I was gonna say it's depressing that like you said, No Way Home is gonna succeed financially no matter what. It's just an inevitability at this point. Critically is a big difference because of how people may receive it and perceive it by the time it's released. Captain Marvel made $1 billion, and I still have not seen that movie.
I don't like the movie.
I've not seen it because it doesn't appeal to me as a comic reader or just as a
Captain
comic
Marvel fan. is a slab of wood in the movie.
And yet it made $1 billion.
And I've seen wood in acting, and I've seen wood. And
You've seen wood in real life.
Yeah, and I'm wood acts better than this. But no, the movie's not good. Maybe the chemistry between her and Nick Fury are fine, but her herself, she's like a stiff. And on to add insult to injury, and this is the icing on the cake in my opinion, because Brie Larson's not a likable person, and I don't like her. And you go to her YouTube channel, she has so many dislikes on her videos.
I didn't even know she had a YouTube channel.
She does, and it was like horrible. It failed, but no, she has millions of followers by now.
Of course.
So to add insult to injury, the sequel to Captain Marvel is called The Marvels.
The Marvels.
It's not a solo Captain Marvel movie.
Marvels?
It's called The Marvels. Marvel Studios, The Marvels.
The Marvels.
It's not a solo Captain Marvel movie. It's The Marvels.
Her and Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel?
And what's this girl's name? Monica Rambeau, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not a solo focus.
To me.
I'm like,
yeah.
They don't like Brie Larson, and she should not be the face of Marvel Studios.
And
she's gotten herself into a lot of controversy and said some really disrespectful
shit.
Kind of
portrayed in a bad light.
And you see those awkward.
And I get what her message is, just more inclusivity and diversity, which is always cool and always meaningful and important. But yeah, she's kind of like.
I'm already at full health.
It's like forcefully displaying it in a way that comes off as aggressive instead of meaningful and impactful and passionate about the subject matter. Oh. It's more about the message instead of the meaning of the message, you know?
Right.
That's what I kind of have an issue with. And then I was also going to say that, same thing. Captain Marvel made $1 billion. Same with Far From Home. I think it's a piece of trash. And then yet the least financially profitable Spider-Man movie to come out.
I'm sorry.
Is arguably the best one is Into the Spider-Verse. And yet that one made the least amount of money out of all the other Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
Oh, granted, that's an animated movie compared to live action, but you see, there's no way, funny enough, there's no way that No Way Home won't make money. Yeah. But it depends on how it's portrayed narratively, on how people will receive it, critically, like you said, amongst the fans and movie reviewers. So
wow.
We'll see.
I mean, like, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I mean, financially, Sony's milking the Spider-Man teat. It's a cash cow. So Goshen's Game says
I could care less for the games though. I hope they never stop. I want like a Marvel Spider-Man director's cut.
Yeah.
Intihar cut.
I will like that. Yeah, definitely. Oh, and also so Goshen's Game says they can't remaster old Activision games because they are still Activision and they don't have the source codes, so they can't touch them.
Right.
All right, that's good to know. All for One 2000 says, I'm already at full health. Evan, I'm already at full health. I'm already at
Reno
full health.
Romano at his finest.
I love Reno Romano's voice. I thought that was, when I was a kid, I thought that he was... I already have enough web fluid, so I thought when I played the Reno Romano Spider-Man 2000 game, I thought his voice was the quintessential Spider-Man voice, because his voice was like the perfect Spider-Man voice. I'm already at full health. I still like Captain Marvel, but I don't like her in the comics. Me either, man. You and I both. So Mecky's ass is really.
Marvel Carol Danvers remains superior.
Mecky's XS11 asks a really interesting question. This is something that I was interested in for a while. Evan and Astonish, do you all think you all should be a game and movie actor? I've always wanted to do voice acting for characters because I feel like a lot of people have told me I have like a very distinguishable, discernible voice. Like I have a good voice, and for like radio or for voiceover, I've always wanted to do it, and it's really hard to get into the business. So I've always wanted to, and maybe perhaps with like my following on YouTube, I can get recognized from people who might be interested in me doing some voice work. So I think maybe it'll lead into that at some point in the future. So I would love to do something like that one day, especially maybe doing a video game character. Like some actually some YouTubers, some content creators got to be in video games that came out these past couple of years, and they only had like 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. You know, they got selected, they got handpicked. To become even like Detroit Become Human, the guy that plays he's a Twitch streamer, the guy that plays Connor,
Brian Deckard. I almost met him in person at E3, and I literally had the opportunity to see him, but I had to catch a flight back home. And he's like, "Come on, hang out." I'm like, "I can't. I gotta go fly back. I'm gonna miss my plane."
Dude, I'm like,
really cool.
I felt like if I met him, I'd be like, "Are you Connor, the android that CyberLife sent?"
He embraces that role like
Oh, man.
anytime he's talked about.
He's
like,
funny.
Yeah, I'm
He's a
the
funny
android
guy.
sent by Cyberlife. He's hilarious.
I'm the I'm the Cyberlife, the android sent by Connor. I like to mess with the lines. Shall we
Glitch in the
dance?
system.
Shall we dance? Circus in town? What you doing up here?
Circus? Oh,
What
the
you doing up here,
soul,
pencil neck?
What I
Mess-
would pay to
what-
play as a henchman.
I want to find the guy that does the voice for the henchman in that game because it's just so funny. What you doing up here, pencil neck? Circus in town? Ah! I love oof.
Like,
I love that.
you're not getting this fuse.
You're not getting through this door. You're not getting through this door.
What is it? Where is he like? Yeah, he's hiding on the ceiling. Like, wait, what's this door doing open?
Man, people gotta be more careful.
Go open any time. I love it. Literally know all that.
Who's that?
That's such a good game. Who's that?
Hey, you. Man, people gotta be.
Looks like the freak wants to play.
Looks like the freak wants to play. I do that to my brother all the time. Like I always mess with him.
Hilarious.
I always go like I do the running like the henchman. Like looks like the freak wants to play, and I start doing this.
The
Like this.
idle animation.
Yeah. I start
That's
doing
incredible.
that. Oh man, I always do that. Get back, ugly. Imagine Peter Parker getting the big time stealth suit. Yeah, that'd be cool. In the movie? Well, I don't know.
Time.
Maybe in a Fantastic Four sequel. I thought
Yeah.
Detroit Become Human was completely trash. It doesn't feel like much of an open world. It wasn't supposed to be. It's a story narrative-driven
What?
game. Evan,
That's
how do
like
you
the
feel
worst
about?
complaint I've ever heard.
Yeah, Evan.
Man, I can't believe a linear-based game isn't an open-world game.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I guess. Yeah.
Oh, man.
To answer that question, to go back to that voice acting thing, I don't think I would rather be a voice actor because my voice is not good enough for any voice work.
What's
But
with the
I
get
do
up,
love-
chump?
What's with the get up, chump?
Chump.
Oh my god.
I love the horror. Like retrospectively looking back, it's a horrible voice acting kind of game. Except Tobey Maguire, he was pretty good. Yeah,
But it's so iconic.
it's so funny but
excellent.
so good. Like it's so bad but so good at the same time.
It's so good that I remember I did a little edit, I think back in the day, that I used to do like these GMVs, game music video type edits, and I edited in the audio from that game with the teaser trailer for Spider-Man PS4 in 2016 with the inner demons in
Yeah,
the car, and Spider-Man uses that dialogue from the game in the skulls. It's excellent. But I don't think I would be a voice actor, but I think I told this to Ronnie too, that I really am very interested in community management and social media interaction, PR and stuff like that. Like
you do good at
Spice
that.
World's such an amazing community that I've been so honored to be a part of, and Franco's a part of it, Ronnie's a part of it, all you guys I'd like to think are a part of it. So I'm very honored to be in that realm of interactivity with all you amazing people, and just connecting more with the personal level of fans and interacting with the community at large really inspires me to do better online and make videos that you guys enjoy. And that's what I like to do and see in jobs and stuff. And you've seen me, I've interviewed in person and through Zoom now, John Bubniak, Brian Intihar, Yuri Lowenthal.
By the way, speaking of which, I really want to interview.
Jacqueline Vigneault.
I really want to interview one of those guys. By the way, even not G. Jeter. I was hoping to catch an interview with at least maybe Yuri Lowenthal, and I don't know how to get a hold of him. I'm trying to reach him.
Me neither. He sadly doesn't follow me on Twitter, but I think if you message them on Instagram, I think, which I don't have, they might be able to respond to you sometimes. But I sadly don't have that privilege.
Yeah.
But whenever I'm able to kind of message them on Twitter and stuff and at them sometimes, then they respond, and which is very cool.
That's a nice costume. Did your husband make it for you? That's a pretty quippy line from the first Spider-Man movie.
Have you seen that meme where they kind of extend that further, like the SJWs?
Yeah, I did.
Like,
I saw the Jax Films version
Actually,
of it.
Bonesaw, you're on the wrong side of history. Yes, my husband made it for me, and he's a very kind-hearted man.
Or like they put like a mouth.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and he's
that
like,
was
his eyes are super wide through the mask, like staring at him, like.
But
whoa.
But that's there's a Jack. I don't know if you ever watched Jax Films, but there's a version of that. Jax Films did a version of it.
Oh, I don't think I saw that.
Actually, Spider-Man, yes. So it's really insulting that you would ask something. Like, it's so funny. I love the extended cut of that. All right, Eddie. He says, "Why do we need a new suit in every single movie? Can we stop focusing on our hero suits and focus on the storyline? I doubt Peter will die anytime soon in Marvel Spider-Man."
Yep. Like, notice how there was no, Deus Ex Machina with the advanced suit, right, for Spider-Man the game, where it was literally just a cool narrative reason to make you, guess what? Connect more to the characters, because that's what we want. You get that connection with Peter and Otto's relationship, and Otto's literally making Peter blueprints for the suit, but even further, he doesn't make the suit for Peter. Peter makes it himself with additions of his own, building off of what Otto gave him as a base, as a blueprint design. And then Peter added his own, utilitarianistic skills with the suit to make it his own.
Exactly.
And that's what's so good. You didn't think, oh, I can't wait for the advanced suit to play a role in the story. No, it's a costume.
It's a costume.
Same with the anti-ox suit. Like, it's there just to kind of enhance that moment where he's fighting Dr. Octopus and give him a little bit of reinforcement. It's not like, oh, the yellow is going to help defeat Otto's tentacle. No. It's just a cool suit that, enhances that narrative. Whereas, is the integrated suit, the new one that we saw the Funko Pops of and the Doctor Strange magic on it, is that going to be just a cosmetic? No, because he's using magic. It's literally a Deus Ex Machina. It's helping him do stuff that he can't normally do. Same thing with the black and gold suit, whatever. It's just another thing to add on to the merchandising and the money-making cash cow that is Spider-Man toys. And it does nothing for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to have purpose.
Exactly.
So we're going to go ahead and close it here, guys. You guys have been great. It's been a really fun live stream. I'm a little tired. But anyways, thank you so much for joining.
I know. Is it like 10 for you? I'm so sorry.
No, it's
like 11?
It's 11. Yeah.
Oh no.
So we'll close it right here, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. If you have joined in late, sorry you missed it. You just rewatch it, I guess. It's been fun, Evan. It's always great to have you and always great to collab with you. I look forward to next time. Perhaps if we get our first announcement of Marvel Spider-Man 2 or a teaser trailer, we could probably live stream about that as well. But you guys have been great. Thank you to the new subscribers who subscribed to my channel just now. I really appreciate it. Had a lot of fun. I love streaming, and I'm glad I'm getting back into the swing of things, no pun intended, to start streaming once again. So yeah, guys, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. I can't say thank you so much anymore because I'm repeating myself, but
thank
goodbye
you,
until next
for having
time.
me, and thank you all for tuning into the stream. Leave a like and subscribe to Ronnie.
Yep, thank you.
He definitely
Evan.
deserves it. And as a little plug, like and subscribe to my videos and my channel. I cover all things Marvel and Spider-Man related that interest me most, mainly Marvel video games.
Yeah.
So if that is exciting for you, I'm your guy, and so is Ronnie, because he's the best and he definitely deserves all your support.
Subscribe to Evan if you haven't done so already. Oh wait, the stream says that I'm above you, but I'm actually
whichever way.
Yeah.
These ways.
Subscribe to Evan if you haven't
down.
done so already. Yes.
One of the two.
Yes. All right, guys. Till next time. I'll see you all in the next live stream and then also in the next comic panel. Later, guys.
Peace out, true believers.
Peace out.